Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Yeehaw Lads podcast, episode number 26. Tomorrow's the big day of Thanksgiving, so we're going to go around the table and say everything we're thankful for.
I doubt that.
Yeah, no.
Fair enough. Instead, we'll move on. We'll talk about our lead story this week. This guy is one of the coolest guys I've ever seen.
Is that so?
It is.
He's known me for so long, though.
Oh, once you see the story, you'll understand why you're not that guy, pal. So the guy we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yes. I know exactly who this is.
You guys might know this story if you've been on the internet.
Yes.
This is Wolter-Jan Van Dijk.
Yes.
I had to look up how to pronounce it because it's a wild name to pronounce. He is a Dutchman who's living in Australia. This guy that is his name. He is Wolter. That's how we'll pronounce him from this point forward. This absolute insane man did the craziest thing I've seen in a long time. So he's a Dutch motocross rider who's been living in Australia. Wolter decided he wanted to race the Baja 1000 this year.
Which is, by the way, a race that goes from the bottom peninsula of Baja, Mexico, from the bottom tip to the border of California. It's about 1,300 miles.
Jesus.
Yeah, the Baja 1000 is renowned as one of the most difficult and most grueling off-road races on the planet. To even finish it is something to brag about.
Yeah, usually there's only there's separate categories. So there's like trucks, buggies, dirt bikes, four-wheelers,
and in each of those there's like 4 classes.
Yeah, there's multiple classes for everyone. Usually in total there's less than 100 people who finish, and there's probably
It's like
1,000 or so starters.
It's like if 10 people start it, like 3 or 4 of them finish.
Yeah,
it's
it is
brutal
very small
because it is 1,300 miles of abuse. Well, let's see, what was that? Oh, while most competitors only do a couple sections of this course and they'll hand their bike off, he was doing it on motocross, doing it on a bike.
Yeah.
Most competitors only do a section, hand it to the next guy, back and forth.
They do stints.
Wolter decided that he was going to do all 1,300 miles on his own as a challenge referred to as Ironman. They have their own class for that in there. I have the standings later. I can tell you how many started and finished.
My back hurts already.
1,300
Oh,
miles.
you have no, there's so much more. I'm going to wait till Brian finishes, but I know quite a bit about this.
If you know anything about it, you'll know where I'm going with this. So he had no sponsors, no team, no crew, and no co-riders, doing it all by himself.
Jesus.
Most competitors, they'll spend days or weeks like pre-running the course, kind of picking their routes, finding objects. Wolter decided to tackle it blind with just the route instructions you're given at the starting line. So you might wonder what high-end race bike he brought to do such a difficult race. He didn't even bring a bike. Wolter flew into San Diego, bought a used KTM 500 off Craigslist, hand-drew numbers on it, bought a tent and some camping gear, and then rode to the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula to start this race.
How big?
By the way, he rode 1,100 miles on road across the border to start the race.
He drove from San Diego to the bottom border of the
no license. Literally bought the bike, hopped on it, rode to the start gate on the off-road tires that the bike came with.
Yeah.
How big is that bike?
It's a 500 cc. It's a full-size bike.
Single
Okay, I was
cylinder.
about to say,
it's a
because
very, very
that
good
dude's
bike.
balls had to, or that bike had to support that dude's nuts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Christ
So there
almighty.
is him on his bike. I'm assuming this is in the middle of the race or something because there's other stuff around.
Yeah,
but
probably a pit crew or something, or just before.
at somebody's pit stop, yeah. But that's the bike in question. That is a KTM 500 EDX, I believe is what he said.
EXC.
EXC, is that what it said?
Yep.
Yes, EXC, correct. So he bought that bike off Craigslist after flying in from Australia. And it's like, fuck it, I'll do this.
Yeah.
He knew a guy that did it in 2019. He's like, hey, that'd be a good challenge for you. And he's just like,
I now have the biggest hard on to try to do this myself, but
he's just
that's
Yeah, I was
that's
about to
later
say,
in life.
Like, this sounds like our guys' trips, but on fucking
Well,
steroids.
Hey,
so
the guy's Australian, okay? This is what they're born for,
Right.
to do ridiculous shit.
so do you have when he started?
I have a whole bunch
yep,
of stuff.
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
I wrote it all up on the clock today at work because I just wasn't feeling it, you know? So by the time he reached the starting line, which was, nearly 1,100 miles from San Diego where they started, they had found the bike's subframe had cracked from carrying him and all the weight of his gear that far. When they got there, they tracked down a welder to help fix the frame on it. and had to replace the tires because they were completely bald
I'm
from the
sure.
ride there.
Yeah, 1,100 miles on road on those tires.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
surprised they even made it that
Yeah.
far, honestly.
The fact that you could just do that and get that far is shocking to begin with,
Yeah.
let alone, all the stuff he's going to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, after all that, he goes into pass tech and he's told he would need additional safety gear in order to even enter the race.
Yeah, it was a radio transponder.
Radio transponder, and he needed
The new set of tires as well.
the tires he knew he needed regardless.
Mhm.
I think there's some sort of bladder for his fuel tank on the
Yeah,
bike.
there was some sort of vent or something.
There's
along those
something
lines.
specifically
Yes.
he needed.
Yep.
But thanks to the support of all the off-road community down
Yeah,
there,
I want to say it was a tech inspector.
an air tech or something.
Put
There's
it on his Facebook. He's like, this guy needs all the help he can get. Let's try to help him.
Yes, I
So
have
with that was kind of the start of this social media bubble of what
hey,
of
let's
like
help
this is the
this
story
guy.
of this guy doing it. Like that's crazy. So then from then on, like when I first heard about it, I think he was halfway through the race. And it was when I ran into
When
the
you
story
caught
and
the
I was
story.
like, that's crazy. And then it was like a day later is when he finished.
Yeah, that's when most people kind of got onto it because it was off the starting line. You're like, okay, he'll run 5 hours, give up. It's an Ironman. It's unbelievably hard.
Yeah, by the way, they shut the official standings of the race off at 50 hours to put it in perspective.
So you had 50 hours.
You
to
have
make
50
it
hours.
1,300 miles.
Yeah, from the start to finish. You can
Jeez.
sleep, you can do whatever you want, but you have 50 hours is the official race length, and I'm sure you have it. I'll wait till you.
Yeah, I've got all sorts of stuff in there. So by the time they found the safety gear they needed, fixed the welds, put the new tires on, it was 1:32 in the morning, and he took off to start the Baja 1000. He actually started out pretty strong, and the first checkpoint was at 233 miles. He was first in his class, and by the next checkpoint at 599 miles, he was in second place running strong. Since he could only carry so much stuff with him because he had no support team, he had to get resourceful to fuel the bike and himself along the way. He'd be stopping at convenience stores and bumming food off fellow racers. Just, he'd see a pit site, pull up. Hey, how's it going? You got anything? I can't carry a ton of stuff.
Please give me a granola bar.
Yeah,
I'm dying.
What do you got? I need something here.
Yeah.
Can you help out? With less than 100 miles to go in the race, his navigation system fell off the bike, and then he damaged his wheel, bending it so far that it wouldn't hold air anymore.
Holy fucking shit.
He then got to his next pit stop. His fellow racers zip tied the tire to the wheel to force it to hold air.
This was some of the coolest engineering I've ever seen, actually.
This is one of those things that you're like, you don't realize that you can do it.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw this picture originally, and I'm like, I don't see anything special here. But you look closer.
Well, it's flat.
There's zip
it's right
ties
there.
running across
Yeah,
it.
in between the grooves of the tread to tighten to the rim, and then thus holding the tire on the bead and holding it all together. That way, the air does not escape out of the bead because the rim is so flattened.
On the rim that is that's worse than flattened. That is bent in
Yes.
like a half of an inch. It is.
I'm very
destroyed.
surprised the middle one
Mhm.
that they were able to get it to come down and
Oh, I see
swoop
that, yeah.
perfectly.
Hey,
Because the other ones, I mean, they just went
they're
across
straight
the
across.
lugs. But man,
Mm-hmm.
that's engineering.
That's
at its
impressive.
finest.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
what
This is-
brand zip ties do you know? I'd like to go buy
right?
some.
I do not know.
Because the fact that they
TheTTStore.com.
didn't wear down that much either.
I don't know when this picture was taken. I was
Still.
zooming towards the end because they look pretty rough, but
Mhm.
still, it's like,
Damn.
oh no, I bent the rim. It won't hold any air anymore. And they're like, we'll figure it out. We'll just zip tie it back together to hold air to finish the other 100 miles of the race. I mean, this isn't like he's doing a lapped race and he's almost done. There's 100 miles of racing left in this.
In the middle of a desert.
In the middle of the desert, in the middle of the night, with just some guys and no support system. His quote about that was, I didn't even know they were doing it. I went to look at the map, and before I knew it, they had filled the tank and started zip tying the wheel and all over the bike. Because I'm sure all the plastics are breaking at this
yeah.
point.
Mhm.
So they're just like,
The amount of
"That's loose
vibration."
zip, that's loose zip,
Yeah.
and just running around doing stuff. Wolter reached the finish line in time, finishing with a time of 48 hours, 27 minutes, and 3 seconds, including his penalties. He finished 7th out of 9 in his class, but he still finished with less support than anyone else in the entire race.
Jesus,
Mhm.
Murphy.
The fact that you even finish a race
Yes,
of this
yeah.
scale is incredible.
Not to mention in legal time, he had another 2 hours or 1.5 hours still. Yeah, I mean, literally insane.
Like, it sounds like you look at all this, you're like, this is a lot, But the fact that most people don't finish
Yeah.
these events, let alone within
With
time.
A qualified piece of equipment that has been beat the shit out of before,
Well,
tested, and
it's
designed around doing this race.
That's the thing, is it is a bike that has been built exactly to
Yeah.
run this exact race.
Yeah,
And
KTMs are very known for enduro specifically,
Oh, yeah.
and this is, I mean, the majority is Husqvarna and KTM running this race.
But again, buying a used bike from some guy in San Diego.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
Like-
you are putting blind faith throughout this entirely. It is absolutely an incredible story.
Plus the extra 1,100-mile drive to
Down
the start
there?
line. Like,
Yeah.
this guy is insane.
Mm-hmm.
His
A
quote,
fucking hero.
his quote about the event was, "It's definitely a challenge, especially being awake that long. You just get a bit weird riding and doing everything. I've been half a zombie for the last 5 hours. You imagine how numb you are after driving 50 hours straight? That's
So-
insane."
I mean, I could just the way your hand, you ever like.
You've white knuckled for 48
Yes.
hours straight. Yeah.
But then, like on top of that, like when you're mowing the grass and the vibration from the mower, and you get that tingly
kinda like-
feeling.
Yep.
I bet he had that through his entire fucking
absolutely.
body.
100%.
Like
sure.
ass completely numb, just knees killing you.
So,
Jesus Christ! Good
actually,
for that guy.
there's a study that was done. It's like the most, I don't want to phrase this. The sport that gets your heart rate up the most is motocross. Like they did a
Oh.
study on every sport, including
believe
like
it.
most like racing in general is pretty high.
Yeah,
like
an
high heart rated.
like an average heart rate per minute or whatever,
Yeah, motocross is the highest,
Mm-hmm.
and when I tell people that, like, oh, whatever, I'm like, you have no clue. Like, you're flying through the air, you are constantly full throttle,
Because
like
it's not-
it is the biggest workout I've ever had,
Oh, yeah.
especially slow technical sections where you're basically just manhandling a 300-pound bike over all these obstacles.
Yeah, because it's not just the like effort you're putting in to move this bike. It's the fact you have adrenaline because you are leaving the ground for seconds at a time.
Yeah.
Or bouncing a rock that's twice the size of you, hoping to bounce across.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, it-
Well, hell, remember when we went to the pit bike night at Megatrax for the first time, and I got done and I was shaking.
oh yeah, that's
And
Absolutely.
it's just like
yeah.
I kind of want to do that again, but my whole body hurts like a lot.
Yeah, literally just the fucking like the vibration will get you literally
Worked
amped up
up,
just
yeah.
from stuff, just from what's going on around you. You guys are doing it. You're just staring at the screen like I
Well,
told you not to because I'm trying to find something. But
Yeah, so like I said, I had caught this story pretty early on, and it was really cool to watch him finish. When he finished the race, actually, he as he came over the line, he was just, I mean, obviously he's exhausted. He said he was a zombie.
yeah, completely ruined.
Yeah.
He they're trying to like kind of like ask him questions and stuff. He really just doesn't have much to say. There's like 8 people there handing him a beer, and he's just like, that is exactly what I want. He reaches for it like it's heaven sent. I'm like, that is hilarious.
Yes, that is the one
What
thing I
a
need at this
dude.
moment.
Oh yeah, I thought that was fucking hilarious and awesome.
Thanks,
yeah.
mate.
He's literally just some crazy Australian with a dream.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
it's
a giant pair of
insane.
nuts.
Enormous testicles on this phone. Like, here's the standings from his
Oh, yeah.
his class and stuff. It's a little blurry because I had to pull it from Instagram off Scores page. I didn't feel like going all the way through. In the Ironman class, 9 people finished, and the list of people who did not finish is at least twice that. It's probably 20 people. I didn't count it out because it didn't feel out. But
Not to mention the 2 other classes, the 2 top classes there's 3 finishers between the 8 people in
Yeah.
those other 2.
literally,
So there's 28 people who rode motorcycles who did not finish.
yeah, and these are people with full teams. Like,
Yeah.
the best time
I'll
for
say
an
that
Ironman
I
was
recognize the
38.
the last number 9 finisher, Reed Christensen. I recognize that name. I think, what is that, Paul Hart?
Paul Hart's above him.
Yeah, I recognize those 2 names, and that's pretty much it.
I mean, you're not exactly following this, but still.
Yeah, I just recognize their names through the like dirt bike world.
What bike manufacturer is Gas?
Gas.
gas.
It's foreign.
Oh,
It's like Teo Teo.
oh,
Kinda like that, you know.
okay. I was like, Gas. What the fuck?
Yeah, gas. It's I'll say foreign. Like they try to do. They're almost kind of the same market as KTM. It's very
Gotcha.
enduro based, not so much motocross or street street
more
legal bikes or anything.
Desert exploration bike
Yeah.
instead of
Yep.
So,
Yeah. Eastern European.
Yeah.
Like that's where KTM, Husqvarna, Gas. There's a lot of those brands that are absolutely insane over there. It's pretty much all that they buy. So
yeah, nuts, like
Mhm.
absolutely insane.
Good for that guy.
Just an absolute mad lad through and through. Just he's like, you know what? Fuck it, we're doing this. You could see his hand drawn numbers on the bike. Like this was just like fuck it. I guess I'll do it because why not?
Yeah.
Like absolutely such a cool story. I saw that this week and I'm like, I have to share it because it's something that like it's reminiscent of what we did, but
on
to
a whole other level.
beyond another level.
Competition on a motorcycle out of country. Well, for him, halfway across the world.
Yeah, us doing 1,000-ish miles of off road in a car over like 5 days versus doing extreme off roading on a bike
in 48 hours
in 2 days and doing more miles.
Well, it's a lot easier to put miles down when you just don't sleep for 2 days.
That is technically true.
Yeah.
Here's I was on Score's Instagram and here's like some of the aftermaths.
I just saw this video today. Yep. Like
this
probably
is
20 minutes ago, actually.
This is what it looks like after you finish these races. Is like everything head to toe is covered in dirt, mud. Like it's caked on every inch of this thing.
Yep. Yeah. 1,301 miles on the dash there.
Yeah. There's not a single ounce of color left on it other than like the bumps on the suspension where it scrapes the dirt off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. It is an absolutely brutal event. And the fact that the fact that you finish at all is the victory.
Yeah, I'll say, like I said,
yeah.
the official race is 50 hours. There'll be people finishing for the next couple days just because they're like, I at least want to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Take my like. That's probably what that picture was. There is because that was in the daylight when Wolter finished. It was dark out.
Yeah,
most
of the time
he
it's
was
night.
only had an hour and a half before the official race was over. So I'm assuming that was him finishing that car finishing today in the daylight.
So
Yeah.
now, between the trophy trucks and the other vehicle classes, or is that's spread out over
Yeah,
multiple
it's staggered
days?
start. It's
Okay.
well, no, not really. It's
Yes and
staggered
no.
start. So there's maybe like a 24-hour period of everybody starting total.
Gotcha. I
but
didn't
yeah.
know if they split it by. Okay, so like
They might do the
here's
trucks
2
first and then the
days.
bikes. Yeah.
No,
let
it's not
let
day
the trucks.
periods.
Well,
It's
but you have 50 hours. The trucks start now. You know they're gonna stagger them. 2 days from now, we're gonna start the bikes.
no,
you know
it's
they
not that
stagger
much
them.
stagger,
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I'll say it's probably a 24-hour period of the 1,000 people
Everybody.
starting, and they'll probably do a
Jesus.
5 or 10 minute staggered start between
Yeah.
everybody. I'm assuming what they'll do is do the trucks first. That way
Yeah.
the trucks aren't running down the bikes.
because like trophy truck, the first place in trophy truck this year was 22 hours and 35 minutes. So they'll
Half the
start-
time of the dirt bike. By the
I
way.
believe they start the fastest guys first.
that too.
That way
Yeah.
they're not catching up to slower
Yeah, I see
traffic.
Bryce Menzies. He is he's one of the probably top 10 off-roaders of all time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
His name is just very
Very recognizable in that. Yeah, like there's trophy truck spec. The first place was 25 hours 33 minutes, so a little bit slower. So you start a little bit later and keep
yep.
you keep stacking them. Not necessarily slower and slower, but you give them time to catch up
Yeah.
to each other instead of running each other down. So everyone can kind of finish closer to close. They all have their own time on the course. They're
Yeah.
not running into each
Yeah.
other, slowing
No.
each other down.
I knew that. I just didn't know if they like split the classes like
It's
that. or
not that much of a stagger. It's actually relatively efficient event. I think it starts on like the 16th and ends on like the 22nd. Like it just takes time.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
not like they don't run one class, clean the track, and do it again. Like it's all at the same time.
It's when we going.
Well, it just
I-
happened, so
I would
we
love
got till
to at
next
least
year.
go
Yeah.
and watch.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to be my pit crew,
you're not. There's no way.
Man,
You're
I've
taking
al-
your
I
Harley.
have-
say that, but
I have always said, even with Brian and taking your Honda out, I'm not gonna drive the fuck thing, but I'll be pit crew.
Like I'll watch.
yeah, you're gonna be 300 miles ahead of Brian, and Nick's
Yeah.
gonna be 300 miles
Yeah.
after you, and I'll just run up, be like, "Hey, fucking gas it! Let me fucking sit down for a minute, gas it, throw a granola bar in my mouth, and fucking let's go."
Okay, so what are you taking? You running your Harley? You're gonna just put
I
some
mean,
hobbies on there? And
that would make a
Christ.
statement. That'd be fucking
Oh my-
sick.
The bike would
Yeah, the-
rattle
the
itself
beads.
apart.
Oh, it would rattle me apart. Every fucking socket
there's-
and bone in my body would be loose
yeah,
now.
there's no chance you would
No.
walk away from that. Just if even without crashing, you wouldn't be able to walk ever
yeah.
again.
No, realistically,
Oh,
like,
shit.
fuck, I don't even know. Like maybe a Honda.
Would you do it with your like
Like a Honda 450X, which is just the headlight street legal version of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd probably be about the best, and
The
those are
Bs.
still $9,000 ish.
Yeah, and even then, it's still gonna abuse you trying to do
Yeah.
it.
Does it
Yeah.
cost money to enter?
I'm assuming something.
Probably.
maybe $100 or
That's
$200.
not bad.
Yeah, no, it's
not like
crazy.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
mean, the expensive part is all the safety equipment.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have
Yeah,
live
yeah.
GPS tracking and sat nav, so you can actually know where you're going.
Yeah. I do have a 4-wheeler. I wouldn't trust that to run 100 miles, let alone 1,300.
Absolutely not.
But yeah,
Just take the Cherokee, put it in the trophy truck class, so they'll never know.
they'll just laugh the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
no problem.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could just do what he did.
And just drive down there.
No,
and
fly out to California,
No,
fucking
no.
buy something off Marketplace, and then do it.
That sounds like
Whatever.
a horrible fucking idea.
I mean,
It sounds-
You can do it. I'll be pit crew, but my back will not survive.
So you
that.
guys have to buy your own flights, but
I'm not buying a flight to California to watch you.
well,
not
technically it's
finish.
Mexico.
Well, California and then Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not buying a flight to California.
yeah. No, not a
Fuck
chance.
that
I
state.
could not be any
Fuck
less
that
interested in
state.
doing that. That sounds miserable all the way around.
Well, damn. Looks like I need to find a pit crew.
You can just rent one down there. It'd be fine. Just pull up a Red Bull. Be like, hey, you guys, you got me.
them. No, I'd have to do like probably what he did is just pull up to anybody willing to help me, like a granola bar, a gallon of gas. I'll love you forever.
Yeah.
Like, really appreciate you. Thanks, Chief.
You're
We love you long time.
literally panhandling in the desert of Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, please, some spare food.
Yeah, you just
Spare
look over to a
gas.
tent, fucking, a mile off course. You're like, ooh, civilization, please.
You're like, there's people out here. This is crazy. You're just alone with your thoughts for 50 hours, just
Yeah.
bouncing through the desert. You're like, man, if I hit a cactus right now, it's over.
This was a great idea.
Yeah.
Apparently, at one point, they did have to pull cactus needles out of them.
Oh, they're-
Oh, I'm
you
sure.
ran through one. Yeah,
Mhm.
that seems brutal. But yeah, that was my big exciting news for the week. I didn't have much else planned because
That's cool.
it's only
Yeah.
Wednesday, and I
Mhm.
just haven't had time to do anything.
It is
exciting.
Wednesday, my dudes.
But so tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
I got the news today. I get the rest of the week off.
Wow, congrats.
shit.
You're going to work
I-
on the trailer?
I'm gonna have to. I've been
Well,
working 60 hours for like the past 6 months.
That's awesome.
And he's like, "Oh, take Friday off too." I'm like, "Okay, but what about
Neat.
Saturday? Like I work,
Yeah,
I
you
work
gotta
more
kinda do
days."
that too.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I guess take that too." And I'm like, "Fucking sweet,"
Wow.
because I'm almost finished with that 400-hour job. I should be finished with it on Monday, which would be nice to get all that shit out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then the week after that, all the other material goes up for the next 800 some hour job. Just fucking banging my head against the wall trying to get anything done.
Nice.
That's
The
awesome.
400-hour job that I was told I would never have to touch. 'cause
Oh, yeah.
My boss will take care of all of it for sure. And then, so when we got back from our trip, I had mentioned that my boss was going to hire a kid. He had talked to him while we were gone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Called him the other day. He's like, "Yeah, I could work like an hour or two a day." It's like,
What the
it's like,
fuck?
that's
What-
not at all what you had said months ago.
That's
so
not even any help, really.
oh no, it's more of a pain than it's worth. So
Yeah.
now we're not hiring somebody to help take the fucking workload off. So it's
Christ.
still me.
So was he only just gonna be temp, or was this gonna be like a second employee?
Kind of a second employee. Like the kid was supposed to work like with his grandpa on the farm from like 9 to noon or whatever. And then
Okay.
at like 1 o'clock, he'd come here and start helping us for a couple hours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Right.
apparently,
From 1 to 6, which is like that's enough time to get shit done.
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5 hours is enough to get progress, but not like 2 hours a day.
Yeah. 2
Right.
hours
Yeah.
you could maybe get set up and maybe
Yeah, he's-
start.
He's like, "Oh, maybe I could come at like 4." It's like, no, that's an absolute waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for letting us think you were gonna work for months,
Yeah.
and then just not. So,
What the fuck?
so it's still me all by my lonesome.
How long would it take to teach somebody?
It, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Fuck.
If you like, if you're not already like comfortable with machines, it takes a lot.
Shit.
Because like, I know like Marcus, you worked with machines when you did.
Mhm.
I'm
River
not
Front.
gonna. I'm not gonna drop the business name, but yeah, you worked with a lot of machines. Like you could probably pick it up.
Mhm.
Andy'd already done it. Like,
Yeah.
I was just, yeah.
and I'm not saying like anybody couldn't, because it's like none of it's hard. It's a lot of just like
Mhm.
don't put your hand inside
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Getting
there.
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah,
is the
and
big thing.
it's kind of, but not really, but
It's not
it's building confidence with your machinery
Yeah.
and knowing
knowing
how it acts up.
it.
Yeah.
Well, the big part is learning how the machine works, so you know what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Okay. Yeah.
so our shear is what cuts
Cool.
our plates. 10 foot long, it'll cut 1/4 inch plate clean in half, no problems.
Yeah.
Won't even slow down. Once you understand how it actually works, you can be a lot safer and more efficient with it.
Okay.
But if you have no idea how it works, you just slide a plate in there and it makes a humongous bang and
Yeah,
plate
it
falls
is
on the floor.
like a gunshot is an understatement.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
It-
And
It rattles the building.
It fires up
worked
like a
with-
TIE fighter. It's
Oh, yeah.
noisy.
I've worked with shears before, but not one that big, and that thing still scares the shit out of me.
Most shears are hydraulic now. This
Yeah.
is still flywheel powered, so it has to do it all in one like crunch.
Yeah.
Where a hydraulic one will like hit it, load up, and push through it.
Mhm.
Yeah, way different. That's probably our like least enjoyable machine to be around when you're
Mhm.
new.
Mhm.
So you're like, if I fuck up, it just cut. It just
Oh,
my
yeah.
hand's just gone. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, it'll just be laying back there. It
Yep.
will immediately come off.
Granted, it's kind of hard to get your hand under it.
But
it's like
still.
it cuts sheets, not
Yeah.
chunks of steel.
Yeah,
and
and
so
it-
you're only ever gonna do, it's only what 2-inch gap, 3-inch gap.
No,
Not
it's less than
even.
that even. I mean, because it's got a little fence in front. It only cuts 1/4-inch plate.
Yeah.
So it only has like a 1/2-inch opening. So I mean,
Mhm.
you would have to be if you're ignorant of the machine or like knowingly using it wrong is the only way you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
extremely safe. It's just
Yeah.
very uncomfortable when you don't know how it works.
Mhm.
Right.
Like most of the machines here I've taken apart and put back together in
Mhm.
some
Yeah.
capacity.
Yo, that helps.
Once you do that, you're like, this thing's just a flywheel with a pin that jams into it at Mach Jesus and
Yeah.
slams down with 30 tons. You're like,
Yeah.
huh. Well, okay, now I know that. Like,
Mhm.
or you'll, hit max capacity on something. You're like, oh, the worst that can happen is nothing happens because it can't keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or it'll make a loud clatter and you're like, I don't like that. But like one of our power hammers down here, it's a like 30-ton freestanding, probably not 30. Our small one's 12. I think it's that's probably 20.
Okay.
Say it's a 20-ton hammer, which sounds like a lot,
Mhm.
but it's hard to relegate force into like actual like seeing it happen
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it's a little tiny thing basically with a big flywheel. Earlier in the last week or whatever, it had broke the spring that controls when it kicks on and off.
Mm.
So there's just a pin when you let off the foot pedal or when you press the foot pedal down, it pulls the stop out of the way, kicks the pin into the flywheel, spins it around until the part that it pulled out of the way goes back up, knocks the pin backwards, and it doesn't spin anymore. Sounds really simple. The problem is when that spring breaks, that little like stopper doesn't make a clean contact, so it'll bounce back and forth really violently,
Yeah.
and it'll hit every pin on the flywheel and make a bunch of noise. So when something like that happens, you immediately panic. You're just like,
Oh, you just
If you're-
e-stop that thing
well,
immediately.
There's no e-stops. These things are built in like the 40s.
Yeah.
These are like there's
Well,
a
the ones I worked with had
Yeah.
e-stops.
there's like
They
a
had
light
to.
switch with an extension cord on the side of it. You have to go flip off. But if you're familiar with heavy machinery, you're like you can see what happened pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And if you're not, you're like it exploded. I
It
have no idea
broken.
what's going on.
Yeah.
So we had to fix that like 3 or 4 times the other day.
Yeah, I'll say
because-
Oof.
when I was first learning how to run machines, like heavy equipment,
Mhm.
my dad was like, you can run anything. It's not a matter of like physical skill. It's a matter of figuring out how it works. The only thing you really got to learn how to like what to do is how to stop
Mhm.
and how to release park and brake. Other than that,
Well,
every machine you can figure out how to make it move.
the parking brake's optional. You can usually drive
Well,
through 'em.
sometimes it's really confusing, or like sometimes they're manual, or
Mhm.
sometimes there's either a switch or a push-in, like a
And it's
semi truck button,
yeah.
not exactly clear what on and off
or
are.
they're so rubbed off that you can't even see.
Yeah.
Like the red paint is gone off, and it's just a button on the dash now. It's like, oh, probably
Yeah.
that one, but who fucking knows?
You're like, hey, guy who's ran this, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, you just got to figure out how it stops. Like making sure that something has brakes is more important than making sure it can move.
Oh God, yeah.
Because you can use it all day until you go to stop using it and you
Mhm.
can't stop.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
you're like in
Yeah.
a situation where you're like, oh fuck, I need to find reverse right now because I'm starting to lean
Yeah, oh,
backwards
yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
And you're like, hold on, okay, so where is,
Mhm.
is it over? Is it do I have to like no,
Yeah.
it's too late for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same thing kind of with the machines down in the fab shop is it's like
Nothing-
you can learn how to use them, but learning how to stop them and learning how to be safe with them is more important
Yeah.
than learning how to
Oh,
use them.
Because it's the things that you don't think about. It's like there's a
believe it.
humongous giant blade there, and you're like, well, if I put my finger here, it will explode. I'll die. Great.
Yep.
So one of the machines we have is a press brake. It's basically a 7-foot long bending die.
Mm-hmm.
It's a top die and a bottom die. You press it and it will bend something to a 90-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple. That like I don't want to say I've been hurt by it because that's an overstatement. I got like a slight nick on my hand,
Mm.
but like instead of getting it near the blade, I was out on the far end of the sheet away from it. Well, as it bends, it flips the ends up to bend it to a 90. Well, my hand was on top of it and it pushed it against like the top part of the machine.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, that hurt a lot because it just slammed my hand in there.
Yep.
Because it's another flywheel operated machine. So there's no easing up on it. It kind of just goes when it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you try to ease up on it, you're not getting full
Yeah,
pressure.
it's one fluid motion and your hand was in the wrong place at that time. So your hand was then in the wrong place.
Yeah. Luckily, it was like some thin 16 gauge. So it was more flexible than
You
my
can get your
bones.
hand out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It literally just like I basically punched a piece of iron in the middle of the day. I'm like, wow, that really sucked. I'm like, nothing's broken. Nothing's really bleeding. We're fine. You know?
Oh yeah.
Nothing's missing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like
Yeah.
you're worried about the blade of the machine, so you're staying away from it. And, it's easy to focus on the wrong thing to be scared of.
Okay.
It's like, well, that's got high voltage right there. It's like, yeah, but if you're looking at that, means you're not looking.
Yeah,
at what
you're not paying
doing.
attention to
Like,
what
it's
you're
hard to separate out. Like the blade of the machine's usually the safest thing because that's what they intend you to get hurt on. Right. So they guard it the most.
Yeah.
It's a weird.
And also, it kind of
weird thing.
sometimes depend on how the machine's set up. Because I
It
remember
always depends on how the machines are set up.
more in the case of what would you call it? I mean,
A production facility.
well, no. So, long story short, when I was working at Riverfront, I was doing pulley cages. So you had to spot weld the
Corrugated steel.
corrugated steel to the edge piece. And, when you're working with a foot pedal, you get into a groove of doing everything. And, if you shift your weight a little bit, you're going to hit that foot pedal and it's going to go off. I caught my thumb one day in the tip, and it wasn't like a little guy. It was like the big one with the arms.
And it's a couple 100 amp machine too, probably.
Oh, thank God I didn't get shocked. And I was wearing gloves.
Luckily, it would have conducted through your hand instead
Yes.
of through you. Like you're not
Yeah.
grounding yourself,
No.
and it's just it's both sides of the
But
arm there.
I don't think I've ever pulled my thumb out of anything quicker and gone, sweet son of a bitch.
Like you pull out anticipating there to be pain, and you're like, oh, it's okay.
Oh no, I got myself good.
Oh, okay.
My whole thumb turned black for like 2 or 3 days.
Icky.
And I remember going up to the safety guy and I was like, "Do we have any gauze? Because there's blood coming out from underneath my fingernail." He's like, "What the fuck did you do?" I was like, "I caught my thumb in the spot welder." He's like, "How the hell did you manage that?" I'm like, "This is why I don't like foot pedals."
You're like, I was in
Because
production
I
mode.
shifted my weight and I accidentally hit it while my thumb was there because I was getting everything lined
Especially
up.
if you're moving apart.
Oh,
you
I
just
mean,
kinda
this was
carry
like
it
a
and lean.
4-foot piece, and you had to spot weld it like 8 times on the top, flip it around, do it on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's, shit happens.
Yeah.
So we've got our small ironworker shear combo. It's the one that like when you walk in, there's a little roller conveyor, and on the right side of it, that's the machine. Michael was back when he was working here. He was cutting strips of material in there. So I wear those. They're thin black, like cut-proof gloves. They're like Maxi Flex, like 43,
Tinner's
67.
gloves.
Yeah, essentially
They're
tinner
rubber
gloves.
coated tinner's gloves.
Yeah, the palm side is like got a good coating on it. The back side's kind of breathable. They're super nice. I love wearing them for
Oh,
everything.
those are the best.
I use
gloves.
them in the quarry and asphalt plants now just because it's like I hate not having dexterity with my hands. Some people use those big old cotton gloves.
Oh, the
I'm
yellow
like-
ones
I'm
with
like,
the red
dude,
top?
I might as well be wearing mittens. Like
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no dexterity
Yep.
with my hands. With the small ones, like yeah, granted, if I'm using a wrench or something, I punch whatever I'm working on.
There's
it's
no
like that
cushion.
sucks.
Yeah.
But I can also have more dexterity to where I won't punch it. Like if the wrench slips, I can grab it really quick.
Yeah, you have
Or you know what I mean? If my
Yeah.
hand's slipping off of whatever tool I'm working on,
Yeah.
I can feel it slipping.
dexterity
which
is
is
the
really
perfect
nice.
way to put that. It's like you can do things with your fingers.
Yes.
Like if you drop something and you're wearing leather gloves, you're like, fuck, and take the glove off, reach down, pick it up, put it back on.
And your
all the
hand's
time.
just as dirty as if you didn't even wear a glove.
We
Yeah,
had
you're
that
right.
last week when we were brazing the grounding rods, and one of the guys from our consulting firm just like shook out 3 brazing rods, and he was trying to pick them up, and he had like the old
thick
like
welding gloves on.
shitty like
leather.
hard like thick leather welding gloves, and he was like,
blacksmith gloves.
"I can't, son of a bitch, I can't pick it up." And so I grabbed every single one of them, put a vice grip on it, and put a 90 on it, and I was like, "There you go." He's like, "Oh man, this is great. Where'd you learn that?" And I was like, "Welding."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we would do that all the time. If we're doing like a lot of TIG, you just bend the ends
Yep.
up or hang them off the edge of the table so you can just
Yep.
grab them. But like those thin gloves, they fit your hand not like crazy tight, but
No.
they're a good fit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When Michael was using our small shear, he managed to cut the end of the glove off of his finger without cutting his finger. He's like,
Close call.
he like came up to the front where I was working. He's like, look at this. And I'm like, you did not. He's like, I did. I'm like, don't fucking do that.
Yeah, don't do it
Keep your-
again because next time you might not be as
shit.
lucky.
I'm like,
Yeah.
keep your hand away from that. He's like, yeah, I learned my lesson. Like
Mhm.
you can tell when you get a little like, okay, I fucked up.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt, but I know it was bad. And you like kind of get that reality check.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He's
I
like,
came
yeah.
real close.
You'll
to
sit there in
finding out.
stunned silence for about 30 seconds. You're like,
Hmm.
It's that, man, that was a really dumb moment.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
survived. I don't have to tell anyone, but man, that was dumb.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how often it's like you do little stuff. You're just like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best, was it? I'm okay.
And I'm not gonna
but
do that again.
Right.
That's how you learn, is you do things slightly unsafe and don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's fine, right?
Like when I tried fixing my airbags in the Explorer and I didn't remove the battery terminals.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one.
Mm.
You're like,
It got rid of the light.
yeah, you finish it,
It
you're like,
it fixed it.
and then you tell someone, and they're like, you did fucking what? You're like,
Yeah.
like, oh, I just did that. Like, no, like that should have exploded. You're like, huh, well, it didn't. So
It's like, well, it didn't, and it took 10 minutes to fix.
speaking of that, it was like last week or the week before, we were supposed to look at your cabin air filter. We never did.
We
Oh,
never
yeah.
did.
that
true.
was on like a Friday.
It still
or
wasn't
whatever.
done.
Yeah, I just remembered that the other day. I'm like, you're like, hey, can we look at that after? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, we'll pull it right in, and then we just didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been interesting.
It's a matter of just borrowing tools. Like, I can do it. I
Yeah.
don't have the tools.
but having a like well lit garage and
Well,
all the
oh,
tools in
yeah.
there
that too, yes.
makes it, and it's not like cold because it's the heat's on and stuff. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it is so hard to convince myself to do anything outside
Yeah.
when I can do it inside.
Well,
Even if it doesn't really fit, it's
Yeah.
still
You'll make it fit at that
Right.
point.
yeah.
Right.
I'll say, speaking of a nice warm place to work on things,
I'm listening.
Oh,
Ew.
I was able to put the Mustang in storage so that I'm able to work out of my garage.
congrats!
Wow.
Yeah.
How big of a pain in the ass was that?
Not it still runs. It just ran shitty. Took it
Half
up.
of that's probably
How
just
old
weather.
of gas
Mm.
is in it?
It's over half a tank and it's
But it's 93 at least. So
yeah,
it's
it's
not,
93. So it's not like
Oh,
bad
yeah,
fuel.
you'll
There's
be
still
fine.
some ethanol depending on where
Yeah.
you got it, but
Yeah.
it's not the same as like
Yeah.
if it was 87. Yeah, you would be draining that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's currently sitting about half mile from my house at a guy built a storage building. Like, it's nothing fancy, but it's a brand new building, and he's got tons of mice repellent plug-in things, which is nice.
Good.
Is it
Um,
heated?
It'll
at all or no?
repel all
No,
of
it's
them.
cold, but my garage was too, so it doesn't.
It'll
matter.
repel all the mice to your car to get away from the repellent.
Maybe.
You know,
Yeah.
that was
But
the
yeah.
thing. Like back when we had our like old pop-up camper, they would use mothballs to keep them out of there.
Mhm.
The problem is they liked the mothballs.
Yeah,
They would come in there-
mothballs don't do anything.
They would come in there, eat them, then die
Yeah.
in there. It's like it works, but it's everything stinks and there's just
Yeah.
dead.
I mean,
like,
realistically, besides the wiring, there's nothing on. Like, if
And the-
mice do get in there and eat shit, like, I can just buy like
because that
other-
car isn't the factory perfect car.
Yeah,
it can.
Yeah, these actually aren't the original seats in it anyway.
Yes.
They were originally a parchment, like a lighter gray. These
Mhm.
are charcoal gray.
You have like
so-
the 04 seats in an 03 car.
Yeah.
So it's some weird thing.
Yep. But yeah, so ran good enough. I got into boost a little bit, and it rolled black smoke, as in just like carbon buildup and
rich,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
running.
Right.
And it's
Um,
cold as shit out. So
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't.
It was this past weekend,
Uh,
so it wasn't that bad.
it's
It was
still
probably
50,
50 some.
60,
Yeah. But yeah, put it in storage. Got my garage back, which is nice. There's so much more fucking room in it than I realized. Oh my god.
When you have an
Um,
entire car, a car that you are afraid of getting next to.
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
if it was like the Subarus in there.
Oh
like,
yeah, dude.
Meh.
I have the windshield and side window on the Subaru have grinding, like it has
Grinding
steel
dust
inside the
embedded.
glass because I was grinding on my
Ooh.
I have my my bench vise there, so I would cut something on it real quick with my Subaru directly behind me because it's a 2-car and it's 2 feet away from the bench I'm at.
and it would throw all the sparks.
All the sparks directly on the windshield and side window, so they're just permanently embedded in the glass. So now when my windshield wipers go, you can hear all the. It's like
Ah,
got grit embedded into it
damn.
because it's
Um,
bright orange landing on glass and it melts right in
Yep.
every time.
But yeah, so now that's out of there. It's kind of nice. I have some room to work. But yeah, it's been. I'm happy as shit to get it out of there. It's there till May 1st.
May 1st. That's
Nice.
not bad.
So for
That's
it's,
good. Because originally that was your concern is you're going to get it out of there and get motivated not or lose
Yeah,
motivation on it.
yeah, basically.
I think we kind of came to the realization that you don't have time to work on it
Yeah.
between now and then anyway.
Well, plus with the axles I'm trying to put under the Jeep, it's
Yeah,
a matter of
one
I'm
project
never,
at a time.
Like basically now my deadline is going to be the second I get it back from storage. Like I'm going to try to have some cash saved for it, try to really start cranking on it as
Be
long as
ready.
the Jeep's finished.
you have a
So-
deadline to start now, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
basically.
you get it back May 1st, and you know you need to start on it then, unless you're not going to.
Yeah, because realistically, it'd be February, March, and April. It's going to be working on the Jeep. So after that, hopefully it'll be done enough, and I'll have made money enough to buy all the parts I need for that. Finish that or at least get it to a point where I can use it the rest of the year, and then start working on the Mustang. Yeah, and also the Mustang should be paid off by the time it's out of storage. So
Nice.
That'll help a lot too.
Yeah.
Just of
get
easing-
$450 back a month that I'm not spending on it just to have it.
Yeah,
I'll
just
be able
for it to sit there.
Basically, I should really just fucking start putting that into a savings account, and then just like it'd be 2 or 3 months of me paying on it, quote unquote, but it's just going in the savings, and then it's,
Yeah.
oh hey, I have
Yeah.
$1,500 that I can throw in at parts on it now because that's how much I was paying just to pay
just
it
you
off.
mentally stay in that saving mindset,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yep.
That way you can, you'll probably spend most of that on Jeep stuff, so you won't have a ton of like leftover. But
Well, I do have my vacation check coming in
That's
from
true.
so which is
yes.
it was $2 every hour I worked, and I worked over 2,500 hours, so I should have about $5,000 coming in, which that's going to
shit.
pay that off, buy most of the parts for the Jeep, as well as maybe pay a month's worth of bills or something. So
Nice.
hoping I'm back at work before too long.
That
but
runs
we'll see.
out.
yeah,
Well,
ideally.
yeah.
No, I know.
So yeah,
I know you said it many times. What exactly does the Mustang need now?
so it needs a Holley EFI computer system. Which
Yes. Okay.
Basically, it entirely replaces the engine management wiring harness, as well as gives you a new engine computer.
Right.
It's
Okay.
very easily tunable, very easily modified.
So it's like a Mega Squirt with Miatas.
It's like that, but the better.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
yeah,
it
it's
is the
better.
upper. It is the top tier echelon of.
This is what
Fantastic.
Mega Squirt wants to be.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, Mega Squirt. Yeah,
hypothetically.
Mega Squirt is a very. It was a small company,
yeah.
especially compared to Holley.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Holly shit is fucking top tier.
Holly makes very nice stuff.
this
Yeah.
is their Black Friday sale. Yeah, I'm like, there's no way it's $1,600.
On sale. This
Shit.
is for a Terminator X, which is one of your nicest. Like
Oh
there is
yeah.
Yeah.
so many data points you can pull from this. This is what most race cars
Didn't-
run.
Rob Dom.
Oh,
had
yes,
this at
everybody
some point.
runs
I was about to say. I
Everybody
remember
runs
he
them.
had an issue with
Everybody
this
does.
that he was missing a jumper on there, and it was like faulting
Almost-
the entire
Almost
module out.
any fast car runs either a Holly or some
Haltech or
Haltech, occasionally Tech, but not very many like
oh.
fast cars.
Fuel Tech or no?
Fast EFI.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think
there's-
Adam LZ has this in his Barra swap.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
GT
because
350
this
or
is the
whatever, yeah.
universal.
Or no,
engine
actually,
control.
a lot of Barras run Haltech.
Haltech's the other one. That's
Something like it.
Yeah, Haltech is
It's
I'm in
more-
the Barra group on Facebook because I am planning to use that Barra engine in something eventually.
Don't you worry about that yet.
But for now, I need
know
to
what
get
it
the
is.
Holly on
It's for my Fusion.
on the Cobra. Yeah. Fuck yeah. But yeah, Haltech they're just very known for the Barra is an Australian only sold 6-cylinder straight six from Ford. They have very good numbers from factory. They come factory turboed is an option, naturally aspirated,
CNG, compressed natural gas, is the
yeah,
other one.
propane essentially.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's very interesting
And they won't bring it
setups.
back to their homeland.
Absolutely
Dang.
not, because it's
Fuckers.
this is better than the EcoBoost we get now in
Yes.
every way. So
Yeah.
they would refuse to bring it here.
Yep.
It's so a 2JZ is one of the most common inline sixes. Well, common is a strong word, but like
Yeah.
most common race engines.
Sought
is-
after, aftermarket,
That's-
swappable, etc.
That is a 3-liter inline six. This is a 4-liter inline six. So it's noticeably bigger.
There's no replacement for displacement.
There,
Yep.
well, there is. It's called boost.
Yeah, which as you can
Well,
see from that
also,
picture,
Why
there's
not both?
Yeah,
there's big
the-
old turbo mounted.
They will absolutely take
thing's-
boost.
Very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard one?
No.
Oh, they're nuts.
They're pretty
Yeah.
Can you pull one up
I
real quick?
Jamie will pull
Was
that
it
up.
the Falcons in Australia? They have these,
Yes.
don't
Yes,
they?
a lot of their cars there have
Falcons, Mavericks. There I follow a guy on Instagram who has a Brian's Generation Ranger swapped with one of these,
Holy,
and
like,
it's
in the
super,
states
super
here.
cool. No, he's in Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
Holy
so I am in the
shit.
USA Barra group.
Yeah.
There's like I don't know, a couple thousand people in it. They're just not popular here yet. But I really
Yeah.
want to be different and do a setup like this.
Oh man.
Because it's a extremely cool motor that makes extremely cool sounds and
Yeah.
stuff.
And good power even without turbo. Like the
So
naturally
what's
aspirated setup.
what's one stock?
An engine or horsepower? Like horsepower.
Horsepower
or cost?
numbers?
Yes.
Like 500, ain't it?
No, they're
No,
they're like 320 or something.
Yeah. So like
Still out of stock.
my Jeep is like 260 horsepower and 260 torque, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
These are like noticeably even better.
I'll pull it up right now. So
It just looks so snug. Love it.
why do they not just have?
There's a
it's
lot
all
of
measured
difference.
in kilowatts, of course.
Yeah.
Oh god damn.
250 kilowatts, which is
I want to say it was like
300.
290
Yeah, it's like just under 300.
for the naturally aspirated. Like if you compare this 4-liter to the Jeep 4-liter, which is in my Cherokee,
Yeah.
it's like 30 to 40 horsepower more, and then like 40 or 50 torque more.
Damn.
So it's like noticeably better for almost the exact same technical size engine, but this is Ford built, and it's this one is very very moddable, whereas the
Yes.
Jeep 4-liter is pretty.
yeah.
The
You get
second
what
you,
you
the second
get.
you give boost to it, everything starts to fail. The top
Yeah.
end sucks,
Yeah.
the rods suck, the crank suck. These are very
yeah, so the
moddable.
common ones are 362 horsepower for the
That's
one,
pretty damn good.
and then their
Yeah.
big turbo
90
one
horsepower
is
more than the Jeep.
416.
Huh. Out of how big of a turbo does it say?
I think they are like
small.
a GT 3450 or something. Technically, is their stock turbo size, but
Mhm.
it's hard to.
Now, how is getting parts for those?
It's not
just-
impossible.
Like
but
realistically, if I am planning to own one of these, if I have one in my possession, what I would do is just get a replacement of every single pulley and accessory driven, like get a spare alternator and just
Yep.
have it. Every single pulley, like get a spare oil pump, get a spare head, just get basically have an entire spare engine,
Yeah.
and I can
Ready
rob
to
parts
go.
off of it just consistently.
Yeah, because there are places that will import them for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's some that will import them and then build them.
Atomic performance. Oh,
This
okay.
is there's-
Atomic Performance. You're already on the website of.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the ones. It's an Australian-based company that ships them over here. They're pretty
Yeah,
popular.
but they'll like build the engine to a spec and be like, here you go, here's your engine.
Yeah, here it is shipped.
Now, is this going in a car you have now, or is
No.
this just like a
No.
future project?
No, this is well far down the line. Realistically,
How many future projects away is this? Because
realistically, this is after I do a drag week with the Cobra, and I'm able to sell the Cobra. I'm going to take the money out of that and start building a
So is it-
separate project.
Okay.
Cobra finish, is it then your 6-liter project, or is this barrel?
6-liter project can be done fairly cheap,
But which-
besides bodywork and such.
which
The
one's
hell's
first?
a 6-liter project?
Yeah, we'll worry about it when we
duty.
get there, right? Or do you want to go into
Well,
that?
because realistically, so I want to buy a '65 Ford Galaxy. I want an old carbureted car, 4-door hardtop.
Yeah.
I can totally
You probably
and
just type in
100%
4-door.
Oh, I see you in that.
support
I
this
want
idea.
I want a cruiser. I
Yeah.
want to have a running and driving car, and I want to cruise it for a while, and
Yeah.
then I want to start. And then I want to stuff a 6-liter Power Stroke into it.
Fuck yeah.
Which is the same engine that's in the Ford F-Series pickups from 2003 to 2007 or whatever,
Yes. Yep.
somewhere in that. But imagine this.
Just rolling coal and screaming and
Yeah.
turbo
Yeah.
whistle and yeah,
Sounding
I
like
could get behind
Chewbacca
that.
roars,
sounding like my dad's farm
slammed
truck.
on 20s, tinted,
Yeah.
maybe a hood stack.
Air
yeah.
airbags, diesel engine, cool.
Yeah.
Custom interior,
Yeah.
like
No, that'd be
leave the
really
outside
sick.
kind of rough.
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
and then like nice interior, like custom stuff.
Or even like
It was like
I would like the paint to be in good shape. That way I can wrap it.
Yeah.
and I'll probably do like multiple
Yeah, good-
variations of wrap.
Good factory paint that you could run for a while, and then like, okay, I
The
decided.
great thing about these cars is they come with a couple different engines. Most of them are V8s.
usually like a 390 FE, V8,
390, 352.
which are all on the outside the same size.
Yeah, they're
basically.
relatively all the same.
Yeah, the 352 big block that's not very big.
Yeah.
Is that a big? Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of them are 3 on the tree. There's almost hardly any manuals. But they're cheap. Like the nicest of nice is like 15 grand. Like a
Wow.
really good Survivor
Dang.
is like 5 to 7.
Because they're not like
Especially the
They're
four
just
the
not that
four
sought
doors.
after.
The 4 doors are not desirable at all because everybody wants a 2-door because they're sleek and stylish and fast looking and whatever.
Kind of like the Chevy
Whereas like
Novas.
I want the 4-door because I like 4-doors more horse.
And of
And it looks
course, you want like the 1 year only.
There's
headlight
two.
grill.
There's 65 and 66. They have a stacked headlight, which I fell in love with that look from Triple X the movie. That GTO they had that was shooting rockets out of the headlights and shit.
He's a
That
big
was a
Vin
good
Diesel
looking
guy.
Loved
car.
that movie. I fell in love with the stacked headlight look from that movie. And I found out Ford made a car with stacked headlights and really cool taillights and just body lines I love. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
here-
Cletus is one.
Is it
yeah.
here's the one that is the price. I was looking for price.
Yeah,
for
this
like
was was $50,000 because it had a Cummins in it and it was owned by the man himself,
a
Cletus
famous
McFarland.
YouTuber Cletus McSkeeter McFarland.
Yeah,
That
This-
thing is pretty fucking sick.
This
though.
has
that
a
is.
5.9 Cummins diesel swapped
Mhm.
into it with a hood stack and nitrous.
probably 600 some horse. I think by the time
Oh,
I got
it's-
rid of it.
I think it's less than that.
On air,
Well, with
custom
nitrous,
interior.
yeah.
Yeah, this was actually after he owned it because they actually put a proper interior in it as well.
Yeah, and the
So-
wheels that were on it when he had it were
Were like-
sketchy.
They were handmade steel,
Or they were-
like
I think-
solid steel.
I think they were widened wheels,
Oh.
but
they were bad.
when you widen wheels yourself, it's
Yeah.
not going to be.
Yeah,
They were taking
super
down the
nice.
drag strip and doing burnouts with it, but
And the
so
wheels
when you get
are
100-mile-an-hour
shaping.
wheel spit on a handmade, backyard fab built wheel, it's not going to be
Yeah, I
very
don't know about
smooth.
that.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
yeah, no,
the
this
integrated cup
this was added
holders.
after
after he got rid of it.
he got rid of it. Yeah, which I want to go. I want to put TMI interior.
I was just trying to think of the name. I thought it was like TMX, but yeah, it's
TMI.
TMI.
TMI does
information.
custom interiors for a lot of old school stuff.
Damn, that's clean.
And yeah, it's TMI is like almost a factory replacement type interior
Mm.
company, and they make quality almost as good
Because you
as
still
that.
want the big cozy bench seat
Oh, of
and everything to be
course.
long, sleek lines because it's a huge car.
Yeah,
But you want it to be nice.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Is like
That's-
this is all perfect, brand
It's
new,
it's
super nice.
factory styled aftermarket.
Yeah.
So realistically, I do plan to own a 65 Galaxy within the next probably year or two because they're just so cheap to like. I can get that and just drive around and enjoy it.
Yeah.
can leave it
I
stock.
can't really cruise in the Mustang because I just break the
No.
law in it, especially after I build it and it's going to be mostly track.
And once it's like
based.
reliable, you're like, yeah, we're sending this thing.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I want once I get it to the point where it's reliable, I want to do the 1 week like Rocky Mountain Race Week or Sick Week or
drag week or
drag
any
week,
of
something long, like a
fun.
week long competitive drag and drive.
the
event.
drive 600 miles, race 6 times. Do
Yeah,
an
yeah.
event with it.
Yeah, I really want to do one of those with the Cobra. I want to get it to that point. Once I do that, I think I can just sell it. I don't need to keep that car the rest of my life. I don't have much. I didn't build the car. I don't have much sentimental value in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to fix the things that are wrong with it, make it
Yeah.
enjoyable for a little
Mhm.
bit, and you go, okay, this can move on now.
Yeah, realistically, once I sell that, then I can try some other projects.
Yeah, get your other stuff done and then go back to like a factory nice fit finish Cobra.
Yeah.
Or are you going to move on to GT500s?
I don't know if I'll ever have another fast car.
That's a lie. I mean,
That's a
I might.
lie.
Okay, what
The
I
Barra
if I
swap
if
might
I
be-
do
might be
have
quick,
another fast
right.
car, I think what I would do is try to save a Cobra. I would try to buy a roller, build a 4-valve, find a T56,
build a 5.
try to say because they only made 30,000 of them. Realistic, there's probably about 25 or less now because
Probably.
of
Yeah.
wrecks and everything else.
Right.
I see so many rollers for sale for like $4 to $8
Mhm.
It's like
Damn.
buy an engine for a couple, like put $4 or $5 in an engine, buy a trans for 2,
Mhm.
rebuild
full-
it
a full spec.
repaint it, try to save it because there's like I said, there's only so many. There's a finite number, and I see those cars only going up in value right
Mhm.
now. Like the ceiling of a Cobra, say less than 10,000 miles, was like 25 to 30 grand
That's
3-4
not that
years
bad.
ago.
That's what
right
it
now.
was.
Right now, under 10,000 miles, they're going for 40 plus.
40 to 50. That's
And
absolutely.
I get it
Jesus.
because they're just now 20 years old.
Mhm.
I feel like they were a staple in the early 2000s, like car
Oh, yeah.
community or car world. So I feel like anybody like me who was growing up as a kid, looking at cars.
You had a
they're like,
poster of that in
yeah,
your
it's like,
bedroom.
oh my god! Like when they came out, they were nuts. They only made them for 2 years. They only made 30,000 of them, and
Yeah,
half of them are convertibles too. So I
Mhm.
want to save a hard shell,
convertible and yellow. Oh, they're
love
so-
that.
So hot.
But yeah,
But you want comp orange. Everybody wants comp orange.
Oh, God,
it's
yeah.
the greatest.
Yeah.
Is it better than Mistachrome?
it's
Like
more rare.
I
Technically,
like
yes.
Mistachrome, but that
Yeah.
comp orange is just a nutty
Yeah.
good color.
Yeah, the comp orange is very, very like desirable. Actually, I believe the current highest
Oh,
price
I know
ever
what we're
bought
talking about.
from a Cobra was a comp orange, not a Mistachrome, because the Mistachrome is a very rare, unique color. But
And everybody knows
the comp
that
orange.
color.
I think they made like 100 or so less than, or like between the coupes and convertibles, they made 100 of each less than the Mistachrome.
Yeah.
So comp orange is the most rare.
Can you
Like-
pull up Mistachrome? I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen that. one.
Mistachrome is
A color shift
It is
between
one of
blue, green, purple, and gold.
Oh.
They originally did this in the 90s with it's called Mist-A-Chrome, which didn't have the gold in it. It was more just a blue,
let me get a good.
blue, green, purple.
Here's the
Oh.
problem with Mistachrome is every time you look at it, it's a different
Yeah,
shade.
So
well,
this is a very
that's-
teal and a little bit of dark blue.
So this is in a white room with really good lighting. It
Mhm.
pops all that super light,
Mhm.
like light blue, and you can see a lot of blue. You don't see a ton of purple in a picture like this.
But
This-
you take it outside and you get some sun on it, you can start
Yeah.
seeing the gold and the purple.
and it completely
Oh,
changes
there
the
you go.
car without even like.
Yep. Yeah.
I would
now
hate-
it's purple.
I would hate to work at a body shop and like doing like paint repair on that.
You repaint
Oh
the
yeah,
whole
that,
car.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Basically, you
There's-
do.
There's no match. Like you can technically match it, but it's nearly. It's
Mhm.
not
You're
impossible.
never
You
gonna
need to
get it
have
perfect.
one entire gallon of paint, or
Right.
one thing of paint to redo the whole car because
Yes.
it's like it's very specific to that
Right.
can of paint.
Right.
Each can of Mistachrome paint was different. So
Right.
Yeah, because I remember
Fuck.
when the new Gen 4 GTs came out, somebody
Mm-hmm.
got theirs custom painted in Mistachrome because you could paint or order them painted to color.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they had it custom done in that, and they're like, it's so expensive
Mhm.
just for the paint because there's so much going on
Oh, I'm
inside
sure.
the
Mhm.
paint.
Yeah.
It's such a cool color.
That's gorgeous.
So yeah, realistically, I'd love to. If I ever have a fast car, I think I'd try to save a Cobra just because I've owned two of them now. Like they have a special place in my heart.
Oh yeah.
But I don't really. I need to stay out of jail, and I don't think owning a Cobra is a good way to do. I need to not own a Cobra to do that. So
Yeah, owning a Cobra as a show car, maybe you could get away with.
well, this is a
but
You need-
Mist-A-Chrome.
yeah.
This is the older gen Mist.
Yes.
Mist.
I see
A
that
lot more
difference in
purple, a
there,
lot more
purple.
green.
Yeah, there's the blue is still there, but it's
Yes.
not. There's more colors on both
Yeah.
sides
Yeah.
of it. This is the
so
earlier
it's
gen car.
Mist for the older ones and Mist-Ick for the
Yeah, when you're
For my
talking
body
about
style.
them, it's very easy to just say they're the same, but they're not. Like you're like, oh,
Mhm.
Mistachrome. You're like, which one? Because they are
Yes.
different.
yeah.
That's a very 2000s paint color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is
It still looks good.
yeah. It is literally that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
And even then, it's hard to find examples of them without knowing what you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for.
Like in these, well, like in the last car you just showed us, I saw more green. Yeah, like that one there.
This is
and
the
the rest,
Yeah, that's the
I
older
see
body
more
style.
purple and blue
Yeah.
and a little bit of gold.
that was
Yeah.
the older color. That was Mistachrome. not
Right.
And it
Mistachrome.
flips like if you walked around this car in person, it would change
Oh.
every step you took.
Yeah.
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 How the light hits
Yeah.
it.
Every
so.
foot you move around the car, it changes it completely. It's a such a cool color.
That is.
But it's it seems like it should be well, it is super rare, but it's not like impossible to get rare. It's just expensive rare. Those are the
Yeah,
cars
yeah.
going for 50
Yeah.
grand.
Comp oranges and Mistachrome are the highest.
And
reselling.
yellow is the lowest.
Screaming yellow is nice.
It's a nice color.
It's what was
but-
the other yellow? Fuck. Screaming
like
yellow is like
sunshine
a
yellow or some weird.
yeah. I forget. Yeah.
Search yellow.
Yeah, I know screaming yellow is
That's
the
a-
dark.
That's a snake.
yeah, we
It's
just
snake.
got snakes.
Not quite the thing.
Yeah, though that's all screaming yellow. Screaming yellow is a really dark or like a deep yellow.
A like kind of sunflowery yellow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is what you think of when you hear yellow.
Yes.
It is a rich kind of not golden, but it's got that.
Yeah.
It's vibrant.
This is
Yeah.
Crayola's fucking. You're
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you're drawing the sun in the corner of your paper, this is the
Yeah.
color you use.
Yeah, I forget
Is
the
that
other name of the yellow.
ignorant yellow. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it on the Googles. Tell me if you see it as I'm scrolling through. They all look like they're the same yellow though.
Well,
Well, it depends on the.
Is it like that? That's not a
That
There you
one,
go.
yeah, that one would be.
Yeah.
I just forget the name of the
yeah.
name of the color.
See if I can
Sadly,
pop that up and see if it says it on
Ew.
here. Does it give me the color option? Why would they not just list the color?
probably
here?
not. Because it's a niche thing. Like knowing all the names of the colors is not.
Is
That is a.
it's pretty rare.
This
No.
is a very light yellow. The
Yeah, I
the
don't
problem
like
is the
it.
TV in here is like oversaturating. It's
That's
actually
true.
it's actually more of like a white. Here, look at my laptop screen.
oh yeah,
It's like a lot whiter.
that's like
yellow.
LZ's 240.
It's probably almost this color. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting color. but it's just not that like rich
Zinc
deep.
yellow.
That's-
That is the
okay.
name. Zinc yellow
Oh.
is it just doesn't have the depth. It
It's
is
a
a lot more
silvery yellow.
Silver.
Yeah.
That makes
What's the name
sense.
for the other yellow? Did you say it already?
Screaming yellow is
That's
the
right.
deep one, and zinc yellow is a
Yeah.
lot
Oh,
lighter,
it
not
says it-
quite a yellow.
It says it right here. Cobra zinc yellow.
Okay, yeah.
But yes,
Yep.
that is the other like from a distance on a picture you can't tell the
Mm.
difference that much. In person, it's very noticeable. Like zinc
Yes.
yellow looks like a stock GT color. It doesn't have that
Yeah.
same like richness you would associate with like a better car.
Yeah.
So
like it.
I do have something I've been thinking about last couple days. So I
Yes.
was basically propositioned with buying my grandpa's semi.
Interesting.
It's a '01 pre-emissions, like
Based.
Hell yeah.
fantastic, beautiful Kenworth.
Gotta get that Kentworth.
Realistically, he
fuck
bought it
Kenworth
brand
it.
new for like 87,000.
Do you know
I think when I
which
said
which model series it is?
900.
W900.
Yeah.
Good.
Single cab red.
Sick.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a close example, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Not obviously not. It's not the. Oh, don't
Mhm.
save the image.
Good
Good lord. I
Technical
hate
difficulty.
trackpads so much.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Realistically, pretty similar to this.
This one's probably a little bit more.
His is a
orange,
cherry red, but yeah, identical.
but same size shape. You
Yep.
know, does he have a third axle? Probably not.
No, double axle.
But
But,
still.
yeah, very very nice truck. He bought it brand new. Bought it I want to say for 87.
Mhm.
It's probably still worth 80 today.
Oh.
And it's got fucking 500,000 miles on it because he used it every day for 2 decades.
Yeah, semi truck
Um,
miles do not correspond to car miles.
Yeah.
500,000's nothing.
Yeah.
That's a brand new car.
yeah,
still.
she just
Realistically,
broke
I don't
in.
I don't really know the number, but I know
It's
that
somewhere.
what my grandpa had said is that this year is going to be his last year of trucking.
Mhm.
I don't know if that means like in a month or two or at the end of the year or what.
Or
But
if he's gonna do
realistically,
another year. And
Yeah.
then,
realistically, yeah, he's getting up there in age. He's been retired technically for years now, but
Mhm.
he just kind of drives, when people need him.
Yeah.
That only leaves me and my uncle who have CDLs who could drive this truck. So I'm tempted to sell my pickup truck because I hardly use it.
Mhm.
Buy an F-150 for maybe 15, 20 grand.
Okay.
Have that as my pickup truck. Have this for what I use my pickup truck for now, which is hauling shit long distance.
Calling big
Because
heavy stuff.
it'll get 8 miles a gallon, and I also get 8 miles a gallon in my truck. I'm paying for diesel anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could switch to red diesel and save.
Well,
save-
you're
you,
not
you
wrong.
paid for the FX4 off-road package. You could put off-road diesel in it.
That
right?
makes sense.
Off-road
Yes.
diesel.
Dummies paying tax on
Yeah.
fuel.
So yeah. So
shit.
realistically, I'm thinking about trying to ask my uncle if he wants to split this with me, and then eventually I'll buy him out of it. We also have a flatbed trailer, a or a hopper bottom.
A Timpty hopper, the standardist.
Yep.
Speaking of hopper bottoms, like every time I see a black one, I fall in love with them.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they're like the average hopper bottom is like white and
A hopper bottom
worn
hauls
out.
grain, so there's just 2 false doors on the bottom of it.
Okay, I know what we're talking
They're-
about.
yeah,
That way, when you
I
pull into
thought that's
a,
what it was, but I just wanted to be sure. Yeah.
They're basically 2 giant funnels. In a,
Yep.
in
Yeah.
a box.
Yeah. It's all. There's 2 compartments inside the trailer, and they
They both taper.
go down. They taper down to the doors. That way, when you pull into the grain side or the elevator,
Yeah.
they
you get out. You just
there's a
roll
floor
Yeah.
drain essentially
Yeah.
where all the
yeah,
crop
essentially
goes.
right. You just literally roll this set, screw it, pulls the door out of the way. You drop everything out the funnel,
Yep.
roll it back in. You're out of there. Instead of
Yep.
like a dump trailer, you have to pick all the way up
Yeah, you tip it up.
or something.
Yeah.
Tip it up.
Yeah.
But it's like every
Um,
time I see one that's black,
Mhm.
it's like, why do people buy white ones? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure they're probably harder to keep clean and looking nice.
Mhm.
Oh.
But you see one in black, and you're just like,
Hell
I'm trying to
yeah.
find a Timpty because that's what I'm most familiar with.
Wilsons are good looking.
Here
too.
we
That
go.
thing fucking slaps.
They're
like,
so
yeah.
pretty. Center up thing. Come on.
Come on.
Technical difficulties. Of course, the pictures are always blurry because it's like
Yeah.
here's a thumbnail off something, but like every time I see a black one, I'm just like, damn.
Mhm.
I'm like, why aren't we cool?
I don't
Yeah,
I
right.
think I've
There's not.
There's not a
ever
lot.
seen one.
It's
So the guy I
probably-
farmed for does have one, and he has a black Kenworth hooked up to it
Oh,
too.
it's
Dude,
so
it
pretty.
is a sharp setup.
was-
Granted, the trailer is beat to shit and faded and stuff.
still.
It
But
doesn't
yeah.
matter though. It
Oh
just-
yeah, it's
it-
yeah.
Is that his truck?
No,
I mean, that's the same name. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna pull it up just
Can you
because it's the
imagine?
same name, but it's like
Yeah.
that looks.
Yeah.
Fuck, that goes hard.
You
Yeah.
can pull it up. It's
It's close, but
essentially this, but it was a single cab truck.
well, it was the thumbnail of last week's episode. Was it
That was the
that was
belt.
the-
That was the
different.
belt trailer.
Or yeah,
So.
but it was that truck.
Yeah, that truck just with a black trailer, dude. I'm telling you,
That's
they're both beat to shit, but 10 foot away, you're like, man, that looks good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when we went to the complete off-road open house. Like my truck was filthy. Because
Oh,
Age and I
yeah,
were up
yeah,
there
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna stop and go through the car wash before we get there. He's
Mhm.
like, okay, whatever. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I pull out of the car wash. He's like,
Yeah,
it's
it makes that
different.
truck pop again. Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it has shiny left in the paint. Are you
Mhm.
kidding me?
Yeah.
right.
Like it looks
Oh.
completely different. You know,
Yeah.
where when it's dirty, it's not the same. But like
Yeah,
black copper bottoms are just gorgeous. I love them. I can't believe people buy white ones.
right. So yeah, realistically, I'm looking at buying my grandpa's truck, and I'll be using it for what I use my pickup truck for now, which is just hauling long distance. Not to mention
Is it set up as a commercial truck or is it set up as a farm truck? Because
commercial. It is.
okay.
It is. He has his own company. It's Richard Metal Trucking.
Okay,
So
because ours is farm use, so we can't haul for hire.
yeah,
essentially.
no, he. Yeah, that's all he does.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I
was
He
just
hauled
about
out
to
of
say,
the
is
quarries. He hauled.
your
I mean,
plan
granted,
is?
he does have a hopper bottom for like our farming.
Yeah.
that we-
Yeah.
especially we used to home a couple hundred acres. We only have
Yeah.
like 100 now.
You can use a commercial truck to farm. You can't use a farm truck for commercial.
Yes, exactly.
Because like you're subsidizing license plates because you're not making money
Yeah.
off of it.
Yes. Yep. But yeah, so I figured if I need to talk to my grandpa, see how much he actually wants for it, see if the price of the truck comes with the trailers or how we want to divvy that up. Realistically, I can probably come up with half of it pretty easily.
You can live in the truck. Add a sleeper, you're good.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, I mean, on
Sell the
on the
house.
plus side, you could,
I can also
say-
use it to make money.
exactly
Yeah, yes.
and say, okay, you can have half of what I make for the next, until we
You
get
can
to a certain dollar amount. or
Essentially,
something.
rent to own to
Yeah.
a, to
Yeah.
an extent of like
Well, but it's family, so it's a little bit different. But yeah,
not always.
Not always.
Sometimes
Okay,
it's
yeah,
harder.
yes.
No, my
I
uncle's a
guess.
pretty big Jew, and he's also the only one
Ugh.
expanding farming. Like he's been trying to buy acreage here and there, and he's gotten a lot of equipment over the last probably 5 years.
Establishing the
He's the only
empire.
him and his son are the only people really like. He doesn't even ask us to help farm, which is like kind of a slap in the face. But at the same time, it's like you do you, whatever.
and it's like,
but
I get it. I would
he
just fuck
uses
things
this
up.
truck to haul in his grain, which is fine. But at the same time, when it's only me and him who are able to buy this truck because we're the only ones with the CDLs, not to mention I'm probably the only other one who would want to invest in this because
Yeah.
realistically, this thing is going to be worth 80 grand for the next fucking 20 years.
yeah,
Just because it's a pre-emissions, nice, clean semi.
Yeah.
yeah. The
As
worst
long as it's taken care of.
Oh yeah. Oh, it
I'm
is
sure it
immaculate.
has.
Yeah, ask Michael about semis getting taken care of. He's like,
Yeah.
these things are garbage, and they'll run another 1,000,000 miles on them.
Mhm.
Like, it does not matter. Like, the amount of times they'll buy a truck from an auction, like, go, wow, this thing fucking sucks. Like, just send it back to auction. We don't even want to deal with it
Yeah.
Mhm.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like, they'll overpay for it to get it there, and he's like, yeah, this thing's junk.
Yeah.
We're like, okay.
And to
just
put
send
it into
back out.
perspective of how clean this one is, last year my grandpa had somebody come out and polish the paint on the frame of the truck
That's what's
because it
up.
was still clean enough to have it
The
buffed
frame.
and polished.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fucking
The
frame.
frame of the truck is still
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's impressive.
for a
and
20
what year is it?
2001.
Yeah.
Bought
So it's a
brand new.
22-year-old truck that's still in good enough
Hot
condition.
damn.
And he drove it into a quarry with all dirt and mud and you name it.
Yeah.
If you keep it clean,
Yes,
it will
he did.
stay
Oh, yeah.
nice. That's the
So
thing.
yeah, like I said, it's as just an investment, it's probably a good deal. And for as little as I use my truck, realistically, I only use it on big holiday weekends,
Yeah.
Memorial Day, Labor Day.
New Year's.
Well, I probably wouldn't take it out to bat because we have the cabin for hangover run. So I would just what I would do is buy a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 F-150, buy a car trailer, sell my trailer also, come up with a couple.
your
cash.
your trailer behind anything other than a Super Duty is useless.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's
buy
too
a
heavy for an F-150.
buy a 20-foot car trailer for $2-3 grand. Buy a
Easily.
$15,000 F-150. All the rest of the cash that I have in my pickup and trailer, I would just throw towards this truck. Not to mention maybe take out a loan on it.
Yeah, pay off some stuff essentially. And just,
Yeah, pay off the Mustang with that. That way I'm debt free besides my house and then maybe the semi loan that I would take out for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Um,
basically consolidating.
he's restructuring.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I can leave it parked out at my grandpa's in his shop.
Mhm.
All the trailers are out there. Like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Realistically, I would shove ambulance camper on the front of a 50-foot trailer.
Mhm.
I can then haul 2, maybe even 3 rigs
Yeah, pretty easily.
on the back of it.
Well,
We can go anywhere in the
30 foot,
country. Yeah.
Our 30-foot will haul 2, no problem.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you could easily fit 2 in the camper or 3 without it.
Yeah, exactly. So, whoever and whenever, if I do decide to do this, if we say, hey, let's go to Tennessee, well, split the fuel, a
I'll say-
third or
oh,
whatever,
yeah.
try
I'll
to
say that's
recoup it. Like I said, in my pickup truck, I'm already getting 8 miles a gallon
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I'm towing, especially
what's the
especially with
difference?
my camper.
Well,
Now
this,
you have-
this pickup, the semi will be so underloaded with
Oh, yeah.
12,000 pounds on it, 2 5,000-pound
Yeah.
rigs, and my
Yeah.
2,000
You're getting
pound
the
camper.
same
like-
gas mileage. Who cares?
plus
Yeah.
a 10,000-pound trailer. But yeah,
Well, yeah,
that'll
that's true.
roll itself, no problem.
But yeah,
You
it's absolutely pulling no weight at all, and
No.
it's just the convenience of having a 50-foot trailer.
Yeah.
know. The drawback is license plates.
Yeah.
When you're paying for commercial plates, they're like $7,000 a year.
Mhm.
Well, because you're making money off this. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of it.
Damn.
But I also pay $200
I'll
bucks
say,
a year on my truck
for
that's
B-
sitting and
for B
and
plates.
it's only losing money.
For B
Yeah.
plates,
In about 10 more years, my truck's going to be worth half of what it is now
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
150,000 miles on
Yeah,
it.
if you keep using it at the rate you're gonna start using it, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm really thinking about cashing out my pickup truck now.
Mhm.
Downsizing to reasonable-ish.
You had to just wait until after Dad bought one. He couldn't have bought yours for a good price.
I don't want anybody to own my truck. I want it
That's
just
fair.
gone for cash, and either that or pull it into a dealership. Say, how much will we give me? I'm taking that pickup truck. I'm taking that F-150 off the lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you
gonna
can leave it
swap,
with
and
it.
you're gonna
You
give
probably
me
could
cash.
like straight trade it for a super nice truck. I guess you don't get.
I
The
don't. I need the
then.
cash though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So I found quite a few like 2012, 2013 platinum F-150s and Lariat F-150s
going EcoBoost
with like
or
100. A lot of them are EcoBoost. They made so fucking many EcoBoosts.
because they're awesome.
So yeah, 3.5
yeah.
EcoBoost. There's one specifically I'm looking at. It's a ruby red, 4-door short
Ooh.
bed, platinum, 113,000 miles on it for
Okay.
like 18 grand or 15 grand.
If you're going F-150, it really does make sense to get a 15 up aluminum.
Yeah,
It-
I
it is-
tried, but I'm trying to.
You're
kinda-
getting into the higher 20s.
Yeah, the aluminums are holding in 20, holding at 20s for Lariat and up, and I don't
Yeah.
want to downgrade the interior. I would love to try to find one that has adaptive cruise, which is
You need
17
Lariat.
plus,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Lariat. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like it's kind of. It just depends how many miles I want. I'm trying to stay under 150,000 miles.
If that's
but-
not going to be your super long haul truck anyway, it's
Mhm.
probably okay
Yeah.
without it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
And you technically you can add it into like an XLT,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. You don't have the steering wheel control, so you got to swap that. Too. Like
Yeah.
you'll spend the
Yeah.
extra $2,000 on parts instead of just buying a $2,000 better.
Yeah, I'll say I'm looking at F-150s right now, just kind of getting an idea if this is possible, and that's why I asked what your brother's truck got for mileage, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like if
Unloaded's 13 to 16,
and that's
depending
him beating on it in town. Realistically,
Yeah,
if I'm
kinda.
going across, if I'm just taking a pickup truck with no trailer, I can get maybe 18, 20. Hopefully.
Mm,
I mean,
that's pushing.
If
it.
I'll say if I'm babying it,
You-
Oh well, yeah, you're not gonna have the 10-speed. As I say, my
Yeah,
my
that's
dad's
another
easily
thing,
getting
too.
24 in his.
That's a 2.7 though.
Yes, and that's
Yeah,
a
the
2.7.
3.5 is notoriously
Yeah.
kind of gas hungry.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
when Michael bought his, the guy that owned it before him was just some old dude who'd never pulled a trailer with it.
Mhm.
I think it was at like 21,
Yeah.
19 or 21. Like
Sounds about
Mhm.
right.
I want to say it was 21.
So that's
Yeah.
what Caitlin's dad gets in.
it was crazy
Mhm.
good considering now it's getting like 14 to 16. You know, it's
Yeah,
not.
but it's also on like 35s and lifted and exhaust, and
but again, you
it's
could,
Michael.
you could just buy a Ranger, get a 4-cylinder.
I thought about that
it
too,
pulls your
but
Jeep just fine. 'Cause
well,
you've already done it.
I'd like to try to stick with like 10,000 pound towing capacity, which I
7,500
also
is so close.
that also means Raptors are in the ball game.
Mm,
so-
barely.
First gen
I don't
Raptor,
think Raptors
maybe.
are told that. I thought they were lower.
Yeah, they're 9,000.
Oh,
Yeah, they're under 10, but
Yeah.
they can technically do it.
Well, I was also thinking about getting a 92 to 96 OBS because I get a power stroke because 20
No.
grand in power in
20,000 and 7.3 is a lot of 7.3.
Oh,
but
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
still,
and it still only tows 12,000
I was
pounds.
about to say, let me-
I googled it. Yeah,
those are the wrong numbers. 1996.
yeah. I'm like realistically, I'd like to keep it ballpark 10,000 towing capacity.
See what the horsepower rating was in 19.
I don't want to know
Yes.
horsepower. I looked up towing
yes,
capacity.
215 horsepower.
Yeah,
But
425 torque, baby.
that is
425.
that is a good amount, you know.
That's good.
Yeah,
Considering
and
my,
they're rated to tow like 12,000 pounds.
considering my
so.
2.3 makes, I don't know, 310 foot-pounds of torque.
So yeah, I thought
Yeah.
straight time.
Yeah, 270 and 310 out of my 4-cylinder, but
Yeah.
there's just something to be said about an old body style Ford. Like,
Yeah,
they're just
try to find one relatively clean and cheap.
They kind of.
Oh, somebody fucked up. I probably can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a single cab, like flatbed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, nothing special, like a kind of a worn out truck. It was on eBay and it said like needed brakes. Like it wasn't anything special.
Mm.
Yeah.
The current bid was at $36,050.
Holy fuck.
The bid before it was $350.
Oh,
Somebody typed in two
Oh,
extra zeros
No, somebody forgot to
And-
put a decimal point.
and went up to $36,000 on this
Oh,
truck
my
that was at
God.
$350. It's like
Realistically, it's like a $5,000 truck, maybe.
nah, not even. Yeah, probably like a $3,000 truck.
Jesus.
It's like that guy's got to be deleting his eBay account so fast.
Fuck.
Be like, hey, I fucked up. But yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
that's
I'm like,
funny.
why is that truck worth so much? I'm like, oh, it's not. He fucked up. So do you want to go single cab, crew cab?
I couldn't.
Have you-
I don't even with the F-150. I don't even know.
such
honestly.
an iconic looking
Oh.
truck.
They're just so pretty.
See, look at that, 37.
$37,000.
Yeah, the problem is the nicer they get is the more money they are, and I'm trying to get cash out of my truck, and
Yeah.
it has 176,000 miles on it.
It says sold. You don't know the price.
That's
though.
not a lot for some.
Yeah.
That truck
that says
is
offered at,
very
yeah.
clean, though.
It was.
Yeah, realistic. Wait, when was it sold? Do you know the date?
I don't know if it says anywhere on here.
Yeah, if it was in the last 3 years, that's 36 for that mileage is pretty good. But yeah, I've seen these trucks go for 50.
I wanna
55,000.
say-
it's insane.
One of
Yeah.
our old brush trucks for Granville Fire.
Oh fuck
Was
yeah,
an
boy, like
F350.
30,000 miles or something.
And let me tell you, that thing was beat to hell. Rusted, like the floorboards on the driver's side were just rusted completely out.
Yeah.
Anytime that you needed that truck to start,
Mm-hmm.
it'd start right up.
Yeah.
You have to be careful because the old 7.3, the IDI, makes 185 horsepower.
Yeah,
It is.
that's the non-turbo.
That's non-turbo indirect diesel injection.
Ooh.
It is not good. It'll work forever
Mm-hmm.
because we had.
But you're gonna go really. It'll go forever, really slow.
That's what we had. So when Dad had his, essentially my crawler truck is the same truck that Dad had when I was growing up.
But yours is a gasser and his was a diesel.
Mine was gas. His had the 7.3 IDI. It's like
Mhm.
it made no power. It didn't go anywhere cool. You just stuck an Allen key in the fuel pump, turned it up a little bit, and you're like, "This is it. Okay, this is what it does now." And that's all it ever. It was impossible to hurt it.
Mhm.
It doesn't make enough
Yeah.
power to hurt itself. It just goes
Exactly.
slowly.
Yeah.
Same with that's what everybody says about the 12 valve and the 7.3 is they don't make enough horsepower to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like those were 185 horsepower.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, it'll last forever because it doesn't make enough power to hurt itself. It's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
What it will do is eventually wear out the fuel pump. That's like it's one thing.
Mhm.
It's like you turn it up a little bit. And it's like that's it. That's all I've
yeah,
got.
you're asking for 110%? No.
Yeah, no, literally no.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, I'm kind of like I said. That's
Kinda up
that's
in the
been my
air.
You gonna be a big rig driver now?
well.
You kind of
I do have
Well-
a CDL. I've
You may
kind
as
of
well
might as
get the
well.
side money.
Yeah,
An-
yeah,
an
exactly.
official
Having
one.
having a another means to make money.
Yeah.
Like I can work for anybody hauling anytime I
Oh,
want
yeah.
if I'm in between jobs or late.
I
off,
could totally
whatever.
see you. Well, I'm headed off to so and so to go get this load, and then
Yeah.
Can
drive
you
it
check on
here.
Blue?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
you could hang out.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
fucking, I'll
yeah, you
build
may
her a
as well
little
bring her.
podium in there. Fucking,
Yeah, just take the passenger seat out,
Yeah.
put a little dog bed there.
absolutely.
Technically, yeah. Could
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
could you get work through the union? Not 150 operator, but could you get through like the
Teamsters.
Teamsters? That's the one. I was trying to think of it.
Yeah. How would that work with
Could
like
you-
W?
I don't
Could you
really
cross or
know.
no?
I'll say I would if I owned my own company with a semi. I think that the 150 wouldn't care, but I probably couldn't be in both unions, and not to mention I would have
Pay
to
both dues.
split it, and it'd be pretty fucked up.
Plus
I
they'd-
think if I owned it, they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But if I
They'd probably be like, "Hey, go to Chicago and pick up this excavator. It's in the middle of town." And you're like,
yeah,
huh?
love that.
No.
Now, does that just depend on the union? Because Doug can own his business and work for the union still. They don't
Yeah,
care.
it's union specific. Like so with the 150, it's operators union. They don't want you operating machines outside of the union. They don't really care if you do
Okay.
like
They can't complain if you're building a deck when you are a truck driver.
yeah.
But it's
Alright.
like
Yeah,
if you're
if I went to work in a, I don't even know. If I went to work in a warehouse to run a forklift,
yes,
Yeah.
and I was still in the 150, they'd be like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing, idiot?
Yeah.
Like you're running machines not under the 150, getting paid fucking a third of what you should." You know what
yeah,
I mean?
if
Like
you're doing
yeah.
private construction, running a backhoe or something, it's like
Yeah,
technically that is an operator job. Therefore, you should be operating in the union.
yeah,
like
Got it.
it's a weird kind. You have to check you know, you have to check what you're doing a lot just to make sure you're in the good side of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm assuming if I like realistically, what I have to do is basically buy my grandpa's business from him, which
Right.
the truck is included. And then I would just keep the name. I would keep everything just because
Yeah.
I don't need my
yeah.
name on the door. It's already his, you know.
Yeah,
Right,
no reason
whatever.
not to. Yeah,
Yeah.
and God forbid it's like you just truck full time. You'll probably make almost the same money you would in union work
Yeah.
doing
Right.
essentially non-union trucking.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like I said, I with my uncle still needing it, with me using it on the weekends and stuff, like it'll get used. It's not. I mean, it hardly gets used any as it is, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It'd be
like I
It's
said,
just
something.
you picking up side work, basically.
And then, like I said, taking it
Yeah,
to
and then eventually
Missouri
buying
and
it.
Tennessee
Yeah.
and Kentucky and where like fucking let's go to Moab. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
load
mean?
up.
It's so much cheaper for us to load 3 rigs on a semi
Don't
and
tempt me with
split it
Moab.
than have
Well.
everybody pack up their pickup
Oh,
and trailer.
yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? Like,
Convoy it out there.
Well,
Oh,
you still
yeah,
have to because we can't all fit in the day cab. But yeah,
that's yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was-
we
yeah,
would
we
follow.
just put the ambulance on
you
the
would
back,
follow
make sure
with
the
your
straps
truck,
are
get
good.
20 miles the gallon on the way out there, and then you'd give me a couple $100 for my fuel.
I'll just hang a tow bar on the back of it and be like, "No, officer, I'm driving." I just-
Does that mean I get to set up CBs?
no, we'd still use Bowfangs.
Oh,
'cause they're
God
way
Well,
better.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can sit passenger.
I
You
could
can
just-
sit in my cab and fuck with the with radio.
Apparently,
Yeah.
nobody uses CBs anymore.
I know.
Not
They all
really.
use just like
Not.
they all use like phone headsets.
It's
and they
just
call each other.
VHF and UHF now.
They use their phones.
Well,
anymore.
yes.
yeah,
If
basically.
they do use a radio, it's like,
I mean,
we'll just get you the
I can
mounted
just
Bowfang.
we can just use Discord. I'll just have my phone headset Bluetooth to my phone, and we'll be running Discord.
technically, yeah.
Radio Man strikes again.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'll say especially like with the off road group and stuff. I figured like like I'm pretty much the only one with a semi or that would have a semi.
One
So
of
it's like
few, yeah.
if any like we only need 3 people to load my trailer, or
Mhm.
realistically we really maybe fit 4. But it's
Something.
like if we rent a cabin or something at a park in Moab or fucking Johnson Valley,
however,
California,
wherever.
wherever, yeah,
Yeah.
Kentucky, whatever. Like,
It puts a lot less limitation on, hey, we're going here. Like, well, fuck, let's get
yeah,
3
how does
trucks
everybody
and-
get
Yeah,
their shit
now
there?
it's
And
logistics
it's
planning.
good for me too because I'm like the most north. So if
Mhm.
we go
If you're
Kentucky,
going south
Tennessee,
at all,
I'm gonna pick them. I'm gonna drive past them anyway.
Yeah, and pick them up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
or they can meet
realistically,
you somewhere, everybody loads together there. You know,
Yeah,
Exactly,
meet at the gas
exactly.
station next to the
Like,
highway.
Steve
Yeah.
could drive to Dave's. We meet at Dave's, load up there. you
yep,
know, in
yeah, and then go to
theory,
Missouri or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hypothetically, everyone can join together and save.
It's not a bad
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, then we just have one follow car that 4 people can fit in. And I'll drive the semi,
Fusion,
and we
where the
get there.
snacks
yeah,
are
yeah,
at.
yeah, exactly.
Honda Fit. Oh wait,
Ideally, the fit, yeah,
Yeah.
but
yeah, yep.
Fusion's second best.
well, the Fit, I'd be giving you a
Fit
little
this
bump draft. I'd
costs.
be pushing you along.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
that
So you
power
let off
monster.
and it just,
yeah.
let's see if I can find it. I did find a use for the Fit.
Officially?
No,
No.
I found a really bad use for the Fit, but it's
We like
interesting.
bad ideas. Ooh, graphics.
Don't you be
cards.
looking at my stuff. I got stuff going on. Let's take a little look. See at this.
Oh,
saw that,
my
yes.
He's
god.
using
A fucking PTO.
Yep.
Christ.
literally. He's like pumping for $50 a day in a Honda versus $125 a day in a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, you just
Fuck
need the
it,
right. You
I
just need
guess.
the right hub spacer or hub adapter.
yeah, and that's easy to make.
you could just
like,
make
Mhm.
one.
But it's like, there's my use for. I'll drive our fucking augers with my Honda.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I would have to tape the pedal to the
That-
floor. It'd be so unhappy.
You probably just have the
Oh,
cruise
shit.
control.
Yeah, you literally, you just,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's a manual. You just put it in third, set the cruise, and it'll just maintain.
Fucking funny.
Yeah.
It'll essentially, you balance, you find what RPM you need
Yeah.
and just
yeah.
run it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, there's my use
Jesus
for it. Done.
Christ.
I'll be running the augers with it.
So does that technically consider it as
Farm
use?
If I put a little orange triangle on the back, it does. Let's chop the roof off. No, officer, it's a razor.
Chop the roof off. Take the rear seat out. Put your fuel tank back
Oh
there.
my
It's
God.
farm use, I swear.
It's a razor. It's fine.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I'll just set a razor cage on top of it. Like, no, it's my razor.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's just for giving the boys lunch in the fields. I swear to God.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, if you put the fuel, like how many gallons is that? 200 gallon?
120 or something.
It would
Yeah,
fit.
120 gallon
Oh,
tank.
so-
Just take the rear seat out, put it in the hatch area, and be like, it's just the
That's-
fuel rig.
It's a
That's
little
all.
bit too much weight for that.
You're
thing.
not wrong at all.
I should put that on the red truck and use that.
Yo.
Oh lordy.
Write it off, baby. No,
Shit.
that's what the Blue Ranger's for if it starts running properly.
Yeah.
You do
Shit.
some like maintenance, wiring maintenance.
Oil
No,
change.
fuck that. It doesn't get enough abuse. Well,
No.
it gets enough abuse to earn one, but it does not get one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's the only use case for the Honda is like I'll drive augers with it, or I do rallycross, one or the other.
Do rallycross. It's way more cool.
Rallycross, Yeah.
Well, that was unanimous. Good lord.
I mean, I still have a Subaru that I'm willing to destroy.
Get it?
Also, I'll probably, if I do get the F-150, I'll probably just turn that into a daily.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. 100%.
realistically, if I get used to dailying that, I'll wait a couple years and then buy a newer, nicer one, and then just
you
Subaru
figure
will
out if
speed
you
up.
need something bigger, essentially.
Well, I'll probably stick with F-150s if I have the semi to do all my other shit with.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
just like if
like,
you need
I-
a skid
right
steer,
for
a
right
semi
now-
too much.
yeah, for right now, I need just a cheap one. Whereas if I get used to it and get a bunch of miles on this F-150, and I was like, okay, maybe 5 years from now I'll get out another
You'll
personal loan.
upgrade.
The semi will be paid off. The Mustang will be paid off.
You pick up a
I won't have any other-
2000 extended cab with a 5.4, and
You'd
it'll
love
do
that.
everything you could ever need. It'll
Absolutely
blow coil
love
packs.
that.
It'll blow exhaust manifolds. It'll blow spark plugs through the head. Like does
Love
everything.
that. Uh-huh,
You could be lucky like Doug's, and it'll just shoot one right through the hood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dent the fucking hood. We love
Yeah,
that.
Notoriously known for doing
I
that.
have a picture of it somewhere in my photo gallery. It's,
Oh yeah. I had one happen. I drove. It was a V10 at
Oh.
at the first quarry I worked at. I was going up the hill.
The
All of a sudden, it just
Tritons?
got loud. Yeah, it was a V10 Triton. It just got loud. I'm like,
Disgusting.
I'm like, it's kind of down on power too. Weird. I put it in park. I locked the gate because it was the end of the day where I was coming up the big decline coming out of the hill
Yeah.
or out of the pit, and I park it in the shop. I'm like, well.
Well, that's that.
That's
I
a
open
Monday
up, I open up the
problem.
hood. I see those spark plugs still connected to the coil pack. I'm like, that sucks. My coworker is like, oh, dude, I've done helicoils tons of times. So he bought the kit, put it in, and it's been fine ever since.
Jesus
I'm pretty sure they
Christ.
still use that truck too, and that was 8 years ago.
That's awesome.
Isn't it crazy that Ford just built a V10 and nobody cares about it?
Oh, it's
It's like
terrible.
any
It's
Italian.
not
so bad.
reliable.
Well, yeah, but like
It's sick.
They
don't get me
added 2
wrong.
more cylinders only to burn more fuel, not to make any more power or
No, God, no.
reliability,
It-
just to burn more fuel.
If you're gonna get a V10 truck, just get the SRT10.
that's so expensive though.
that's a $40,000
But
truck, and these are right now
still,
worth like
yeah.
4.
yeah, Dodge puts a V10 in something. They're like, oh my god, it's amazing. Ford's like, but ours is right
We've
there.
had that for like 5 years longer. What the hell?
It's like every once in a while, I
Yeah.
like get into a kick of like, how do you make power on a V10? They're like, you just don't.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work.
Sit in the corner in fetal position and cry.
Yeah, they're like, nobody makes parts for it. Nobody cares about it.
Right,
Put headers on it, and you're done. That's all you.
I
can.
remember a specific somebody who had a green Triton, and
Somebody.
that thing broke down every other fucking day of the week. No, not you.
Oh, I'll say I had a green Triton. What do you
Oh,
mean?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and man, did I spend a lot of time helping him fix that? Because after about 5 minutes of him wrenching on it, he would get pissed, and I would
That was
just
with any car he owned.
well, yeah, not to.
You remember that shitty Explorer he had?
Are we talking about you now?
Oh, them there fighting
I was
words.
saying Nick's gonna take that personal.
No.
Mine was blue. Nice try.
Everybody disliked that.
I remember his 2 Mercuries, and one of them was fucking
yeah, whatever
boosted.
the fuck. Yeah,
Crazy.
Oh,
to
An Explorer
Mercury.
with wood trim.
Yeah,
Mercury
But,
Mountaineer.
I specifically remember he was trying to replace the serpentine belt, and he couldn't figure out how to get the tensioner loose. And I was like, buddy, it's you loosen this bolt and put a wrench on the other side and lift it up like any other fucking tensioner. And I literally did it in like 2 minutes. He's like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. I'm like, you need to calm the fuck down and maybe watch a YouTube video before you do
yeah,
anything.
like it's 2015. Google it. I don't
Yeah.
fucking know.
You remember the neon he had?
Neons are.
Hey, I
That
learned
was-
how to drive. No,
It's
no,
not a neon. It's an
no,
SRT.
No,
Sorry.
never mind. That neon, I specifically remember he was like, oh yeah, it's overheating. And I was
Does
like,
this
oh,
guy?
just...
Does his last name start with a B?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we were talking about the last name with P.
Oh
No.
no.
I was like, I
he
don't
didn't have
remember
that
him
stuff.
having this many cars in
No.
high school. No,
No,
he
no.
actually, yeah, he did.
No, but I remember we were in Granville and he popped the hood. And I just remember like leaning over and going, is that a fucking garden hose or your
The coolant hose?
radiator? And he was like, yeah, it works fine. And I was like, I think that's your first fucking problem.
Yeah.
Narrator. It was not fine.
I also remember redoing his subs at one point, and he used, instead of, like an actual amp cable, he used Romex.
It works technically.
It was
Technically-
not happy about it.
Technically.
It was crispy in a lot of places. And I was like, well, here's your fucking problem.
That's one of those things you got to know how much sketchy you can get away with, you know. And if you're on the wrong side of that, you burn your shit down.
Well, if you have a neon, you don't do things properly, though.
It's an SRT
Honestly, I don't think
hard.
any.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think any neon has ever been properly modified. I'll be honest.
The orange one that Damien's older brother had. That one was actually decent.
Oh yeah,
Damien
okay.
P?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He had an older
Yeah.
brother?
Reese.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking Rich, but I knew that wasn't it.
Reese.
Yeah,
RHYS.
Yeah,
Neat name, yeah. Yeah, because I used to ride the bus with him when we went to junior high.
Shows
And
how
like
much
he
I
sat
pay
in the back
attention.
and like I just kind of like he recognizes me. Like I think even to this day, like it was not a couple years ago is last time I saw him. He kind of recognized me. I was like, that's fucking wild, dude. Like
Yeah.
the only time I ever like talked to him was on the bus, like when I was in junior high and he was in high school, but we were like going home and for some reason we were on the same bus or whatever.
Yeah.
It was funny.
yeah. His SRT Neon was actually
It lasted a lot. Yeah, he drove that fucker a lot.
Yeah,
Like for a long time.
You used to see a lot of those in high school, and now I couldn't tell you last time I saw one.
Well,
Thank
it's a
God.
Chrysler product. They rusted out and they're in
Well,
junk.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just stopped working
Yeah.
immediately.
Same with darts. Like darts were
Oh, yeah.
fucking everywhere when they were new. And now the
Oh,
only
you
one
mean
I
like the-
see
like
is
the
the
2014?
one guy that we know.
Like the
he works
new-
with Michael.
The new gen dart. Like
Yes,
the-
yeah,
okay.
the new gen.
I'll
Yeah,
say my one buddy has one, and
Yeah,
he dailies it. It's the only bright orange one around here.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if they have the auto tragic in them, then they're pretty rough. The
Yes,
manual ones are cool, but yeah,
They did
most of them-
come. There was one turbocharged one,
a
with
2
an
liter with a
Arrow.
manual.
It was like-
yeah.
Oh, was it a 2-liter?
I think so. 2 liter, like a 1.8.
Is
or
it the
something.
NA that's like 1.4 or something?
Maybe
It's like insanely.
I want to say it
small.
was like 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, and 2.0. Like
It's something
in
weird.
Some,
Or maybe the
sounds
1.8
right.
was a turbo one or something. But
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, the
but
turbo ones were like Arrow was like the
Yeah, some-
branding of it. I'm like,
They
that's
looked
fucking
cool.
name, yeah.
Yeah.
They looked cool. That was-
Stuffing things.
about
Yeah, they're
it.
not bad, but they're actually,
They're
Marissa has one. It's
now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's her car. It's a pile of shit.
Even
She
I-
does- today
even
she
I
asked.
knew that.
Today she
I
asked
thought-
me about putting struts on it. I'm like,
No.
well, I know. I asked her. I was like, well, are you buying the strut combo or are you just buying just the shock? And
Just
she's
the-
like, well, I don't know. I just know they're making noise. I'm like, buy the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there, it's 10 times faster to just replace the whole unit.
I thought she
Yeah.
had a Jeep.
Both.
Well,
Both-
yeah, she
both
had-
of
yeah,
them.
Or is that
both.
just like
she never drives?
Is that
the
just
Jeep,
the
though.
fun car?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, yeah. I think
I-
it's. I think she. I think her dad technically still.
Yeah,
is.
Arrow sedan. You're
Dude,
right.
Yeah,
Austin.
Love that.
Love to see
Gross.
it. Original MSRP 19,999.5.
Sick for what, like a 20.
You know what I'm very
For a
surprised-
commuter car, though, that's
14.
not bad.
2014.
You know what I'm very surprised?
I would love to hear it.
One of our salespeople at my office just got a brand new 2024 Buick. I forget the name of
That's
it.
a
It
Buick.
How
looks-
old is she?
Is it an Enclave?
No.
Encore?
No, it looks like a Urus.
Encompass?
I know who you're
Urus?
talking about,
Mm,
Oh,
or what car you're talking about.
Yeah.
He got that thing out the door for under 30.
yeah.
Is it the Invista?
Really?
That's a cool
Maybe?
sounding name. It probably is.
Yeah,
Our neighbors got that.
It looks like a fucking knockoff Urus.
it does.
It really does.
It really does. No, no, no.
Wow.
It looks like a GT86 stretched, but it also looks like a Urus.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And it was funny too, because like the
That's
first day
funny.
she drove it to work, I was like, "Man, what exec is here?" She's like, "Oh, it's my new car." I was like, "The thing looks like a Urus." She's like, "I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's
No,
what everybody else
looks like
tells
it
me."
looks like a GT86
Yes.
or a
An
Subaru
86, but
BRZ.
lifted.
No, with a fucking like slack jaw.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just fucking 10
Widened
inches
at the
too
bottom.
long.
Slackjaw mentioned. Let's go.
Now, is this the same person that was looking in the Fords, or is this a different coworker?
the person you kept asking
Oh,
us
yeah,
about
yeah.
cars about?
No,
or
that's a different coworker,
Oh, did
and
they buy anything?
unfortunately, yeah, she went to GMC.
Oh, unalive.
Oh well.
We did the best we could.
For what
Overpaid for a Chevy.
that is and how she got it, it is very low miles.
Oh, yeah,
and
they are-
that thing is clean because
SUVs do not hold value
No.
Mhm.
No.
because they
Rightfully so.
they get abused and then they break.
Yeah.
But she
That's
drove
why
it to
every
work.
Equinox is falling apart at this point.
She drove it to work on dealer plates. She's like, "I'm just test driving it." I'm like, "That means that you really like
You're
it."
like, bro,
but
steal the dealer plates. What
Just-
do you mean?
Oh my god.
for shits
what
and
I would do for
grins,
some dealer plates.
like,
Oh,
would
yeah.
you care if I just go outside?
you could
just,
drive
like,
the fucking fit on dealer
I
plates.
could. I should just become a dealer.
Yeah, it'd be cheaper for you to just become a dealer and drive that thing than fucking just lose your money on
It will
it.
definitely be cheaper to make it a rally
just
car.
fucking rally
Fair.
cross
Now,
it.
what kind of GMC did she get?
The Equinox equivalent.
Equinox.
Yes. Envoy or
Four-cylinder?
terrain.
The terrain.
Terrain, yeah.
Yeah.
My sister has one. Yeah, it's like she has like a
But-
2022 or some shit.
Is
Yeah.
it 2.4?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look back.
She won't
at her
have it for long
messages.
if it is.
I mean,
She-
the 16s
this-
are ugly. The 22 and
Is
like
it-
the newer
what-
body style is a lot.
Is it
better.
this year?
No, that's old.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
what
it's the
like,
second gen.
Oh.
I'm asking if this is the one they got.
Oh.
Do you know what year it is or not at all? Because the 2016,
It's 2016.
boom,
Oh,
I know the average poor white person car.
I was
Let's-
just about
Well,
to
my
say,
sister is also poor and white, and she has the newer body style, and it's a lot better looking. Than
Oh, yeah,
mine.
They are a lot better.
but this
I-
thing,
yeah.
This
has,
thing still looks like an Equinox, though. They didn't
Yes.
change
Oh, yeah.
anything.
No.
Yeah.
this thing has,
I mean, it's got fender flares.
this thing has
The Chevy version don't.
73K on it.
Okay, that's
It's low mileage.
I
I took
wouldn't
a look.
call that low.
it's-
Grandma drove
it's
it, yeah.
lower.
only driven
One
to church
owner.
on
Pull up the
Sundays.
2020.
So you know it was an old
Yeah.
lady. But like I took a look up underneath of it. Fucking garage kept, not a
Terrain.
speck of
Mhm.
fucking rust. It looks fucking good.
Yeah.
How many miles?
GMC's
73K.
Yeah.
Yeah, GMC's design language is just much nicer. Like
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't know
still
what
don't
the
like
di-
them.
like. They're the same thing but different. But like
Seems
That-
by default.
that's
Wow.
a terrain.
That looks way different than my sister's car.
Did she get a terrain?
Yeah.
Is
It's just not blacked out. And like it's like
Oh.
a
Is it a
bluish.
2020?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the trim package makes it look weird.
Yeah,
Right,
I think
so
so.
Probably some appearance.
And it's, yeah, it's probably some
Yeah.
sort of weird appearancey thing. Is it more like this guy?
Closer, yes.
Is it a 24?
No, it's a 22 or 21.
Mm.
Oh well, maybe I shouldn't search.
Even then, that
24.
doesn't
That's
look
also-
too bad. I mean, the headlights are a little goofy, but
Do you see anything here that looks reminiscent of it?
Yeah.
I don't know, they probably look different in person.
Yeah.
Like a Mach E looks so goofy in pictures, but in person they look like actually kind of appropriate.
Yeah, I do
No.
like Mach-E's.
Like
No.
the pictures look terrible.
Oh yeah,
in
absolutely.
person,
Yeah.
I actually don't hate
I
it.
don't like them
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Yeah, they
How
look
often
like
do
they
you see
look
them in
very
person, though?
fitting in person.
I don't think I've ever
Shimmer-
seen one.
That's why.
Oh wait, no. Yes, I have.
In
I
person,
don't
they're-
like them.
In
I do.
person
Oh, I
they're
like
much
but
better.
then again, I'm very
Yeah,
opposed
'cause
to.
we saw them all at the auto
electrics.
show.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
Spring
we
Valley
thought-
Ford had one. It was a nice ruby red one.
Me.
Wooby wed.
I wouldn't know one, but they look very
Mhm.
nice.
They're interesting, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a lot of car design language doesn't translate good for pictures into reality.
Mid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even my truck, like I am thrilled the way it looks. I take a picture, and I'm like, Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't translate across
Mhm.
very good.
I was the same with Mavericks until I saw my grandpa's in person.
Mavericks just need to be lowered. They're so
love
cool.
Mavericks.
Yeah.
They just like
I wish
lower
they
them
towed
2 inches.
10,000 pounds.
I mean, they
I'd buy
can
that fucker
once.
right now.
They can,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I have seen people haul 10,000 on the Rangers. They're not happy.
Oh
No,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
They're made for 7,500. That's all you get.
Yeah.
There was a YouTube video that came up on my recommended a few weeks ago that I watched. It looked like the trailer was meant to be like a gooseneck and someone was towing in a Ranger like yours.
Yeah, I believe it.
And like he had it like in manual gear. I think it was like in fifth and like the fucking RPMs was at like 5,500 RPM. He's just like, oh yeah, it's doing it. It's just like, brother, your truck's not happy.
Nah, they're built for it. It's fine. Yeah, I run mine. Well, I lock it out of 10th and 9th just so it's not going up and down all the
Yeah.
time.
Mm,
So I just run it in 8th, which is still an overdrive gear, so it's fine.
I had to do that when I was driving yours in town when we were moving.
It needs a transmission tune.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out there's the evap pressure sensor on the backside of the motor. If you replace that, supposedly it fixes a lot of those problems.
really, with a newer, updated one.
There must be something with the ones that are on there because people like it. Sometimes they'll throw a check engine light, sometimes it won't.
Yeah.
But they're like, even if it doesn't replace that, it should fix it
Huh? That's very
Interesting.
interesting.
because it's like
Yeah.
it's like losing signals, so it's modulating back and forth and being weird.
Oh,
like
that
something's
makes
gumming
a
up
lot
the
of sense.
switch and it's mad about it. So
Or
it's
they were
like-
just shitty, cheap
Well, they're
Chinesium
definitely-
ass
Yeah.
switches in there.
well, because in 2019 they weren't here yet. This was still
Yeah.
like brand new stuff.
Right.
So like if you, it's like a $30 part. I see it's
That's not
like,
bad.
but it's like behind the engine. You have to like break
Oh.
your little wrist to get in there. But
Yeah.
My widow wished.
it's like supposedly that fixes a lot of that problems.
Huh.
That is like I do that and just like tune it and it should be happy forever. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Problem is if I
Hypothetically.
tune it, I want to put on like 93 and make it fast.
Or
I
performance
mean-
tune.
Considering I don't drive to work anymore.
Hmm.
No, if I go tune, it's getting a proper like
There you go.
tune.
There you
balls
go,
to the
full.
wall.
It's gonna gain like 90 horsepower.
Nice.
It'd be
What's the
nutty.
Ford Performance do?
Like 50, 45
Oh.
or 50.
That's more of an unlock, isn't it? Though.
The Ford Performance is a 91 tune
Mm-hmm.
with like
Oh, it's
fac-
only 91.
yeah, with
It
factory
has to be 50
safeguards.
state.
It has to be 50
legal.
state carb legal
50
or whatever.
state,
Yeah.
it doesn't void your warranty apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where if I go with the one I'll do, it'll be 93 only,
Mhm.
and then it'll probably void my warranty. Technically, it will void it,
I
but
would say I thought yours is up anyway.
I would.
85.
We're in the land.
Fentanyl.
We're in the land of the corn, man.
I have. There was one company that could make an E85 tune work for those.
mm-hmm.
I never heard any. Like everybody complains about direct injection in E85. They say
Okay.
it doesn't flow enough fuel. You will max
Yeah,
out your
Which
pump.
makes sense.
I gotcha.
But they made a tune that worked. People weren't having problems with it. but then they kind of like stopped advertising it.
Yeah.
So maybe people were kind of having
Or either that or it didn't give the numbers they were expecting
Yeah.
It
to.
was made
So it-
numbers. It was. I think they were making like 105 overstock with
In your truck?
my truck just
Hot
switching to E85 and a
dude,
tune.
corn fuel, I tell you.
It's so fucking. Let me see.
Fucking
Let me
hate
just see
it.
if I can find the numbers.
I love the fucking smell of it.
Oh yeah.
Corn fuel's so cool.
Yeah.
85 download
Nope.
results from 2020.
I refuse.
Let's see. ZFG Racing. That was the ones. That's
Mm-hmm.
what the name I was trying to think of. Somewhere in here they read it all out, I think. Can't read the numbers. Can't read the numbers. You got just give me the numbers, please. I'm in the middle of this. I don't know.
Just love forum posts.
Oh yeah, another thing that I'll be doing with the
Either
Cobra
way.
is with a Holly, I'll be able to switch on the fly E85
Oh.
to 93. So
100% worth it.
Yeah.
it'll be making another
You
150 horse
should,
at least.
if I remember correctly, should be able to wire that directly to a physical switch.
Yeah.
Well, no,
you can do
I'll just have a sensor in
Yeah.
the
Oh, it'll just do it.
fuel
on that.
line essentially,
Yeah.
and it'll just do it itself.
Yep.
It'll
Cool.
correct itself. So
Yeah. You can. I mean, you could put a flex fuel sensor in the tank and it would just know,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't have to switch anything.
Yeah.
It'll run all the numbers by itself, and it won't have to. You have to be like, well, I had a little bit of 93, so I'm probably like E50, and you're testing the pump all the time to see is it better today, is it worse today. It's
Yeah.
having a flex fuel sensor is
You know,
super nice.
That is one thing that just kind of blows my mind about a lot of ECUs nowadays.
ECUs?
People normal people when they think about an ECU, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's just a computer and it's set to this." And
I mean,
it's like, well,
kind of is. but-
not
Kind of.
really. Like when you start getting into some aftermarket stuff, it's like, hold on, let me try to crank it over for 10 minutes, and that ECU is trying to learn everything that there is to know sensor wise
it's
about
reading-
that engine, and then it's remapping it to make that engine run. And
it's
like,
running
hot
hundreds of
damn.
sensors to see what's different
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah.
and
Which-
that just kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Man, I swear I used to find this super easy information. Now it's all gone.
Of course not. Hey, look, that truck looked like yours.
Nice.
This one?
No, go up one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that.
no, that's not mine. But yeah,
It looks like yours.
it's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got the black bumper instead of mine's
Oh,
chrome.
yeah.
But yeah, it's essentially the
Tough.
same things.
Wow.
85 to here we go. Give me the numbers, please, off of this. Why is it being a pain in the butt? Give me the test results.
Excuse me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Also, it's
I don't
almost,
know.
It's almost 9:00.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like we
Yeah,
don't need to
we've
try
been
to
on.
look at numbers the rest of the time. It's,
Yeah.
It makes like 100 and some more horsepower. It's nutty,
That's awesome.
but it maxes out the direct injection fuel pump. So
Mm-hmm.
in theory, you should upgrade that too. And if you're doing that, then you just put an upgraded turbo on it, and then you can make like 450 wheel or something.
Yeah.
Hot
That-
damn.
The 2.3 makes amazing power
You
as
know,
long
I-
as you support
underrated.
it.
I specifically remember this had to have been 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Mhm.
I think it was me and you, maybe. We were in the car and we were like, man, once we hit that point where a 4-cylinder can make 400 to the wheel, where it's 100 HP per cylinder,
Yep.
like just fathoming that was just insane. And now it's like,
And I'm
yeah, it just,
Oh yeah, we
they
can
all
just
do that.
Let
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
pull up my guy.
Your dude.
This is when people are like, "Oh, I gotta type a little bit less."
About to say, ooh, where are we going?
It's hard to not be dumb. Miles Kerr, he has the fastest Integra on the planet. This is like anytime
Oh my
someone's like,
God,
"What do
why
4
an
cylinders do?"
Integra?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's fast as shit.
I mean,
So
that
there's-
thing on the track looks fucking sick.
That's the before. Those are the same car, before and after.
Well, yeah.
This car is
Sick color.
It was the first front wheel drive to break 200 miles an hour in the standing half mile. It runs 771 at 192. Like,
You want to go ahead and play it?
no, because it'll ruin the audio. I need to turn down the filtering in post.
Mhm.
This thing makes tons of power. Every time someone's like, well, 4 cylinders don't make good. Like, no, they do.
They can
Yeah,
if they're
they
built
can.
properly.
Granted, it's like billet block.
This is
sequential.
well,
But
yes,
it's the possibility of like,
yeah.
but still, at
Somewhere.
the end of the day, that is a fucking 4-cylinder.
it's like a 2-liter and it's making like 1,200 horsepower, 1,400.
Yeah.
It's some
Hot da-
stupid
Whoa, wait,
number.
scroll back up real quick.
I will. What do you want to see?
Is that the fucking air intake?
This
Yeah.
guy?
Oh,
Yeah. Yep. Wow.
Jesus,
Let me-
fuck.
Let me
Yeah,
find
it's an
the-
intake
He
one.
had the turbo on the bench just the other day.
I mean, I get it, but damn.
Just the turbo is gigantic. Like this thing
This
is
is why I love watching Rob Dom when he does his tuning videos, and he's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I just did a burnout on the dyno. Here's the shreddings."
1100 wheel horsepower.
on low boost.
Christ.
This thing's literally like anytime someone's like, I don't know about them, like this is what's possible. This is not likely, but it is
Mhm.
If
possible.
you got enough gumption,
One of these
you can
yeah.
do this.
I swear it was just the other day he posted it. Maybe not. I don't know. Either way, but that's my go-to. Like, oh, can cars make power?
Hot
Yes.
damn.
Yes. Yeah. This is my dude. It's cool
That's
to see.
pretty neat. Good for that guy.
fast as
Honestly.
fuck, boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, makes 1200 on low boost. Little
Sick.
silly stuff, but yeah,
Now, what would he consider low boost? Like, what numbers are we
I don't know,
talking?
probably like
25.
25 to 30. I think on full boost it's like 90.
Yeah, I'll say 60.
Jesus fucking Christ!
It will shoot fire.
It's a
Like,
100 millimeter turbo, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's I think it's 80 something, but yeah,
Well,
on a 2-liter engine, it's nuts.
Right.
God damn.
Cool. I think it's enough for today.
Yeah,
What do
let's
you
get
guys
the
think?
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Cool.
I still gotta measure some stuff.
Measure this dick.
Oh. And on that note,
Break out the micrometer. Thanks
Small
for
penis,
watching. Thanks
big
for listening.
dreams.
We'll see you next time.